Yeah, marvelous. Okay. I'm on my Frank Lucas shit, 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. And he waiting on me, got an umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats.
Welcome to the show. It is the world's greatest podcaster alive that ever breathed a breath of fresh air, the greatest to walk the planet, the greatest to grace the mic, 3-time podcast award winner. We call them the triplets. Me and Cabo, we got 3 kids now. We got to watch over them. I'm your host, Rick H. Cabo behind, the greatest podcast producer alive as well, behind the mic.
I like that intro.
And today's guest is the freaking baseball guru, my own personal family member, Emanuel Hierro. E-Man is here. Give it up for E-Man.
Let's go, E.
Let's go. So anytime I talk baseball, I go to E, right? We talking basketball, I go to Benny. If my family's talking MMA, they come to me. What's the other? Football is kind of like a mix of all of us because we got goods. But E is the baseball savant. First of all, E, welcome back to the pod. Give me a little bit of background on your life and baseball and your marriage and the love for the game. Because I think E loves baseball like Kanye loves Kim K. You know, like Kanye's obsession with Kim K. So let me know how this love affair started.
No.
What? Cheers, E. By the way.
Salud. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you for having me back on the show. Number one pod. You guys are winning awards left and right. A fresh one.
Fresh one. It just came today. We popped the champagne for it.
Yeah, keep up doing the big work. Shout out to you. Shout out to Kawa. You guys are killing it with everything.
Bring the mic in just a little bit, E.
I appreciate you guys having me back on the show.
Well, you're gonna be like a regular, like especially this is the hot stove. You know, you was in Vegas. We'll get into that.
Offseason, yep.
Yeah, that's it. We got you labeled now, and now you're the baseball guru.
The baseball guru.
Baseball guru. No, thank you. We appreciate it.
Who the ESPN guys? Tim Kirchin.
My man Jeff Passan.
Yeah,
They
Pedro
got a few
Gomez.
guys. Yeah, Pedro's good.
Yeah, but those guys. No. This is the new wave right here. This is the baseball
new media.
guru.
We're working with the new
media, new men, new everything. If Cam and Mace could have OJ talk college football and football, I could have E as the baseball guru.
There we go.
That's not to say. Let's go into your resume with baseball. Like, 'cause I want people to be like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Definitely. Thank you so much, man. Obviously, if you know, I'm Rick's family, so we represent in
First
Washington
cousin.
Heights. We represent La República Dominicana, the DR, for sure, legit. Back in the homeland, that's where my love really for the game started as a kid growing up in the DR. I was playing every day, following every day, and as soon as I understand that I was not going to make it to the major leagues myself, I pivoted, and I started around 18 when all the guys were getting signed, and I said, what is the way that I can get into baseball? I started working full-time for a baseball academy down in the DR.
Chicago White Sox.
All 30 MLB teams have an academy down there. So I did 4 seasons for the Chicago White Sox, and I did 3 for the Kansas City Royals. Over there, I started giving English classes to the actual baseball players that got signed.
World Series champion Chicago White Sox, by the way.
05 champs, got the
so-
watch to prove it. They gave me a watch instead of a ring. The ring was only for like the employees that were on the big league club. They gave the rest of us
But you
watches.
got something.
But we
And
got
they gave you
something.
some money, too.
We got a little bonus.
Yeah.
You know how we do. But no, I was very grateful for the opportunity. I learned a lot down there. First of all, teaching the players baseball terminology and basic English for them to get ready to come to the United States. And then I was working as an assistant for baseball, international baseball operation, working with the coaches, with the scouts, with the whole staff, with the manager, and with like the director of the academy. So I did that for a few years, moved back to the United States, where I went to Seton Hall University, got my degree in business administration and marketing and sports management. And that's how I started getting my foot in the door. And now, thankfully, I've been working 7 seasons for the New York Yankees and we're representing there.
27-time World Series
27-time World Series champs. Started in 17 with them. Started in the media relations department for one season, and then moved into the corporate and community relations. So I'm in the front office, just helping all the internal departments with all of their English to Spanish translation. And also one of my main duties is that we take care of all of the events that we do for the community, giving back as an organization. Not
So Hope Week, that's a big one.
Yes, we have a big
Old Timers a game.
And then in the off season, we have several holiday cheer initiatives. We do toys, we do scholarships, we do Thanksgiving initiatives.
Stuff that actually I'll give it to the Yankees. This is not promoted.
This
None
is
of the
not.
They don't do it for the glory. This is
No,
stuff
this
that
is
happens.
stuff these are programs that have been going on for years, and we try to improve on them every year. And I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to work with them, and I really enjoy the work that I do because I get to go to work every day doing something I like. I know a lot of people don't have that. They're not that blessed. I know you love your job.
Let me wait. So he gave you his professional resume, right? So my cousin played in DR. He played for Las Águilas de Villaorga. That was the team. So not only that, but he also played with some of probably some of the best baseball players' sons in DR. So we're talking about Tony's sons. We're talking about Fede Fermin's son. We're talking about Polonia's son. And Emanuel was entrenched in that world from a very young age. Not only him, but shout out to Mikey, my other cousin Mikey. He was with me this weekend at the event at Citi Field, Los Titanes del Caribe, Las Águilas versus Licey. Mierda pa' Licey, coño. But
It was a great event.
I'm going to get to that right now. But let me give E his flowers. E was a tremendous baseball player, right? Ricky Henderson is the player that comes to mind that you compare him with. Before I said Derek Jeter because he has that aura and that mystique and that even AJ who has all the physical skills to be a tremendous player and a ton of power. I always said if I could blend AJ and E together, we probably have an all-star and a multimillionaire in our family. E had the drive, the passion, the skill set. He could do so much. Outfield, infield, knew how to read the ball well, can probably coach, is good at talent, and just the fundamentals, and he could teach all this stuff. I do see him as a future GM. I'm not saying that because he's my cousin. I think he could run a baseball team. We would have these contests, me and Argenis and Emanuel, on stats, and he was like an almanac, Edgar Martinez is batting this much, or this is much, and I would have the paper with me to double check him. No, he would always keep up with the numbers. It was always fun to me because I spent the entire summer of 1998, and that was probably one of my favorite summers in DR. Pulling out the paper, that was also the McGuire Sosa. Remember that?
Yeah, and the 1998. Best team of all time.
New York Yankees.
125 wins.
So I've always been an A-Rod fan. So when you're in DR, you're able to watch certain games. The Seattle games were broadcast in DR, thank God. But he's the guy. So if I'm going to watch a ball game and you tell me pick a couple people, he's the first one. His dad is probably the second person I would pick to watch a ball game with because his dad breaks down the game and he sees – yes, he's a little biased. He sees the game a certain way. His dad was the first guy to tell me, I don't think Derek Jeter's worth the amount of money he's getting paid. Because he's a firm believer in the 5-tool baseball player, and he didn't think Jeter was that. So that's just, in a nutshell, that's what Emanuel is. We mentioned Los Titanes del Caribe. Let's talk about that event a little bit. Gabo was with me. We shot some stuff. We'll probably release a little reel on it. Beautiful for the sport, beautiful for the country. I think the fans represented DR very well. 90,000 plus in the 3 games. We sold out all the alcohol in Citi Field every game. That's I don't know if that's a stat that Major League keeps, but
It was announced.
It was announced.
We were there, and you could tell something was going on.
The ladies at City Field, you know, they were a little annoyed. They were like, "Oh my God, I just sold this guy like 6 drinks." But it was a great event. Nothing chaotic happened. People went in, and I think it gave the U.S. a true look at what passionate baseball fans are. And I've only seen that. I've seen games in el Estadio Cibao. I've seen Las Águilas versus Los Gigantes, and I've seen them against Licey in DR. I've only seen that one other time in my life, and that's when I actually went to the old Yankee Stadium. And when the real Yankee fans were allowed to go into the stadium and they weren't priced out. It's a beautiful thing when you see the entire stadium engaged. Friday night wasn't sold out, but it was loud as heck. Cabo, you could attest to that, right?
Nah, yeah, that game is crazy. What I will say is I feel like the Yankees really dropped the ball on that one, man.
I mean, that would have been a beautiful look at the stadium.
Man, yeah. That was my first time in City Field.
In City Field. What'd you think of the ballpark? It was cold because it's open. And
yeah, but you guys gave me like a little tour around, you know, because we got there early. That City Field is beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's very nice.
For a second, I forgot I was in the middle of Queens.
Oh, yeah. And
they got that little outdoor area. Oh, shit. I might go back for a couple
behind
summer
center,
games.
right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful with the huge screen.
Man, yeah, that's my
Yo,
kind of vibe right there.
I got to apologize to you.
What you did?
I completely forgot. City Field is probably one of the only stadiums that has chimis.
No way.
In the Coca-Cola corner upstairs.
Yeah, but the only thing, one of the things that I noticed from the event was that they didn't have all of the like vendors and everything.
Yeah,
no, they
all
didn't.
the concessions open.
But they did have Shake Shack. They had the filet mignon steak
They had
sandwiches.
some of it open because that was the one.
But the Dominican burger.
One of the few complaints that I had, the fans are like, "Oh, we see all this different variety, but some of these items are closed." Because unfortunately. And this is something that the event was very successful, and hopefully in the years to come, it gets bigger and
I
better.
hope they continue doing it.
But the next time they do it, they got to realize maybe they weren't 100% expecting that was going to be so many people at the event capacity, because like the second day on Saturday when I was there, it was about 35,000 people. And it didn't look like they were open in concession-wise and security-wise for all 35,000 people.
Yeah.
They should have opened it. And some stadiums have done that in the past. When they don't understand how many of the people are going to show up. We ran to something similar to that last year when we had the 2 Bad Bunny concerts at Yankee Stadium, where for those concerts, we had similar capacity to Yankee playoff games, but our concessions were not at 100% open. So we ran into that. The people are like, "Oh, I'm going to enjoy the concert. I'm not going to make this long line for food.
Listen.
I'm just going to get 2 drinks and go sit down and party."
To any sports team in New York, if you're throwing any kind of event that's catering to our heritage as Latinos, we will show up. And I'm also letting you know, if you guys ran out of beer at City Field, there was a lot of Dominicans that didn't go because it was cold.
Yeah.
So if you ran out,
and that was
happy.
Friday. Saturday and Sunday were packed.
Be happy it was cold that Friday night because
when they started running low on beer, a lot of people made the switch even early in that to hard liquor to warm up. So you saw a lot of the people, but it was family friendly. Everybody was safe. There was nothing crazy happening. So like I went with my dad. I saw a bunch of family members. Thanks to Rick H for the invitation and the hookup with the tickets. And everybody was on their best behavior. And it was just the fans celebrating every aspect of the game.
Everything.
A base hit,
A
or
walk,
everything.
a strikeout, anything. Rui Perez came out, and forget that. The vice president of DR, she came out to throw out the first pitch.
Yep.
And the first lady. And it was David Ortiz, obviously, is Big Papi, Hall of Famer.
He might as well be the president himself.
So he came out, the stadium went nuts. He goes behind home plate. She threw a strike, direct strike. And the fans went crazy over it. Then Rui Perez came out. They did the national anthem. It was a 10 out of 10, that event. I'm going to take that from Melanie.
No, it was a great event. The atmosphere was great. On Saturday, the day that I went, there was a combined no-hitter in place by Las Águilas, almost taking place in the 9th inning with 1 out. There was a disputed base hit that they had to go to the replay for like 5 minutes because it was a very, it almost became a spectacular catch.
They almost had
but
a right on the
It
hand,
was a
but they
legit
did.
base hit. It almost became a spectacular catch. And you can see half of the crowd, or more 60, it was more 60-40 in favor of the Águilas. But even though the Águilas, they got the win and then they got the sweep on Sunday, and I'm happy for that. That's my squad.
But we lost when we went back to DR.
Yeah, we lost back in the regular season tournament. But in this specific little event that we're trying to turn bigger and
Successful.
bigger, it was a success, and everybody was a winner.
And
The
we're
whole
not even
country
talking
was a
about the
winner.
concerts yet.
Yeah, the whole country was a winner. Culture was a winner. Baseball was a winner. The DR was a winner.
Yeah,
not
big win
just
for DR.
Not just yeah. Hopefully, when it happens again, in other venues, same venues,
Yeah.
bigger concept. Hopefully, the games actually count because the players played their hardest
Their ass off in cold weather.
in cold weather for
That they're
exhibition
not
games,
used to.
and both teams have multiple players debuting in just in time for that series because they didn't want to miss it.
Yeah, we had a couple major leaguers. Some of those guys have never played in that type of atmosphere, that type of weather. In DR, our stadiums are much smaller, but you could expect that same environment. So if you're a baseball fan and you want to have like a nice vacation where you want to watch some winter ball, go to DR. Watch one of the games. You'll see somebody's grandmother cursing out the pitcher. You'll see everybody in tune with what's going on. That almost no hitter, I bet you everybody was everybody knew what was going on and everybody was in tune and just focused, laser focused on it.
Yeah, that's as close as you're gonna get. I feel like to a soccer crowd for baseball.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
That's
Like,
a great
there's-
comparison.
There's people there. I realized that when they were introducing the teams before they sung the national anthem.
Yeah.
They said the Aguilars, all the fans went crazy. They said Licey, all the fans went crazy. But then afterwards, he said, now give it up for DR, for República Dominicana. And everybody went bananas. And that right there instantly showed me, yeah, we here to cheer for our team. But this event
is
is,
a culture
way
thing.
bigger
Yeah,
than
yeah,
baseball.
Yeah, you're
It's
absolutely
way
right.
bigger than that rivalry.
That crowd, there was only a couple of things that I've seen either on TV or experienced in person in my life that come similar to that in terms of baseball. Rick mentioned one of them was a big game in Old Yankee Stadium is one of those things that gives you the chill. The other ones, as Rick says, that he's watched games over there. I've been to Game 7 of the finals of the DR, Águilas versus Licey.
Intense.
16 years ago. They've met numerous times in the finals. Crazy games. I've been to a game that was started by Bartolo Colon and Manny Ramirez was in the lineup and Henry Rodriguez and Luis Castillo. And these are Miguel Tejada. These are big games. So only those couple of things and a few of the games in the World Baseball Classic, like DR versus Puerto Rico. Those are the only other few items that I've seen that. And it's because our passion of DR and Latino culture is like, well, we live that. It's not just, we're not here just to have a good time. And,
Yeah.
like the score matters, everything
yeah,
matters.
it's
Everything,
built into the
everything,
culture, yeah.
everything. And you'll see people yelling. You'll see, like I said, grandmothers, like old. I remember vividly. So the game against Los Gigantes, it was Jose Lima that started the game. Shout out to Lima Time, rest in peace, my
Mambo
guy.
Lima.
He started the game, and Lima threw a strike. It was unquestionable, and the ump called it a ball. The ump thought it was a little low. I remember seeing like somebody's 87, almost 90-year-old grandmother just get up and start cursing at this ump like a sailor, and in Spanish, so you know that shit was aggressive.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget that. And it was in that game, he was talking about players. It was Jose Lima. It was Rafael Furcar. They were all still in the bigs, all these guys. Yeah. It was Figueroa from the Mets.
Yeah, Nelson
pitcher.
So
Nelson
all these
Figueroa.
guys make a lot of money here, and they were still willing to go play over there in the offseason.
Cano.
Let me ask, how does that work? If, let's say, back in the day, I know people like Vladimir Guerrero,
Manny's
Robinson
done it.
Cano,
A-Rod's
Manny,
done it.
were they doing it while they were actively playing? Not obviously while the season was going because it's winter ball, but in between seasons that they were active.
Yes, they were doing.
And
It was a way to stay in shape.
Because I always hear stories about, like in football, you'll hear Tom Brady in his contract, he's not allowed to go ride dirt bikes or, something like that. These players are allowed to go play.
It's been more not frowned upon. The teams have more control of it now, but some players, they can get a waiver.
Melky Cabrera was playing.
They can get a waiver for it, and then first of all, when they're younger, the teams actually encourage it. So some of the teams send some of their biggest prospects, even Americans, because there's some American prospects that the team wants the AAA is over or the AA, depending on where
They want to keep.
they
them
want them
shape.
and the DR Winter League, it's a much more higher and intense level than AAA.
It's competitive.
So they want them to go, oh, you're good in AAA? Go to DR or go to Venezuela or go to Puerto Rico. Let's see how good you are there, and then come back for spring training. Let's see some of that improvement. So all the teams have deals with the teams from the DR and the Winter League for the rights for those players to play there. So the prospects and the young Dominican players and Americans, they encourage that. Once they're a big leaguer that's like vital towards the team,
like
with a multi-million-dollar contract, you're gonna need a waiver, specific waiver.
Okay.
And some of that it will be more for like the Dominican guys that will like insist on getting them. Sometimes if the player's coming off like of an injury, I know a couple of years ago, Cano really worked hard to try to get that waiver. He got it, but I know the Yankees, we wanted Sevy to rehab, but we weren't able to work it out where he was allowed to pitch in the Winter League. Even though in years past, when he was 100% healthy, he was able to pitch. So depending on the team and organization, those are some of the things. If they're rehabbing an injury or something, they might opt for the rest and just go to we'll see you back in Florida or in Arizona, wherever your spring training is. If you're completely healthy, you really want to do it, you can request a waiver, and MLB and the Players Association have a deal in place that they're allowed to play in DR, Puerto Rico,
Pretty sure
Mexico, and Venezuela.
There's insurance in the contracts too, so if the player gets hurt, the teams get paid out. But there's also younger players to work them out. There's also, if you're coming off an injury that you're almost ready at the end of the season, but you want to get like kind of ready for spring training, sometimes the team will allow you to work out and do winter ball. And there's also players that haven't signed with a team. They use that as an exhibition or a showcase. I know Cespedes did it once he left.
Yeah, it's regular this week, and we saw Starlin Castro.
Yeah.
So he's been he didn't play last year.
No, he didn't sign.
So
with
he
anybody.
didn't sign with anybody. So he's a total free agent, and right now he's playing. He's going to play the rest of the next couple months.
I think he was batting 444.
He's looking for somebody to sign him.
Yeah, he was up there in batting average.
And offer him an invitation to spring training to try to latch on to the team. He's still young enough. So I believe he can still make it back.
It's a good showcase.
It's similar to the situation in terms of the waivers and insurance that the MLB allows for the World Baseball Classic. So you saw a lot of the big. You saw obviously Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout. So you saw all the big guns getting permission to play. So
it's a lot easier though because that's an MLB.
It's an MLB sponsored, and it's a 3-week tournament. The Winter League is 3 to 4 months.
Now it gets catastrophic. Like A-Rod playing for DR plays one scrimmage game, and he needs surgery.
Or obviously Edwin Diaz this year.
My God. But I'm glad you brought that up.
Obviously. That can happen in Puerto Rico, and it can happen in DR.
Freak injury, yeah.
It could have happened also to Edwin Diaz if he was in Port St. Lucie in spring training for the Mets.
Or if he was playing a regular season game.
Or regular season game. But unfortunately, it happened in like the highest moment.
And that's the only thing that puts a damper to that game because that DR versus PR game, I remember watching ESPN and I remember seeing all these analysts saying, wow, what a game. Ooh, the fans were into it. It was an incredible. Had Edwin Diaz not gotten hurt, we would still be talking about how passionate that game was and how, because that's the matchup I always look for. DR versus PR, DR versus Cuba.
If that doesn't happen, maybe Puerto Rico doesn't get, obviously they were devastated after that. Maybe they would even gone further. Like they won that game.
I think that completely took the wind out of the sails.
They were fair and square. They beat us that day, and we had to tip our cap. Edwin Diaz is obviously one of the best closers in baseball. But then at the end, we saw a big-time matchup. U.S. and Japan, and Shohei Ohtani. Unfortunately, he's hurt now. Has nothing to do with the World Baseball Classic, but in terms of his pitching arm. But he showed why he's one of the best players on the planet.
And I think Puerto Rico eventually wins one of these because they've been super close the last 2 times. And I was more impressed with the year that we won. Was it us that won? Or
Yeah,
Japan?
2017. Japan's won twice. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, three times now. 3 times.
3 times, yeah. The second time, it was Japan that won it.
Yeah. We won the third one.
That Puerto Rican team with Lindor, Baez,
Yadier Molina.
their first year.
They weren't beaten until the end, basically.
That team was on fire. They had Barrios pitching. They had Diaz closing.
That was the Daisuke Matsuzaka year.
Yeah.
Before he came to the Red Sox.
Yep.
Yeah, no, those games are pretty intense. And
No, this is after.
This was after Daisuke?
This is the championship you're talking about. The Daisuke one was
Japan
the
one.
first Japan
Japan.
one. I'm talking about the
They
second
They
one.
beat Puerto Rico and then the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first year.
But that Puerto Rican team with Lindor, because this is Lindor and
He was still on Cleveland.
and they had just came up and
And Carlos Correa was there too.
Correa,
Javi
Yeah,
Baez.
yeah.
Baez. That's the team
They
I'm
all
talking
like
about.
dyed their hair yellow.
Yeah,
Lo
the
rubio,
blonde,
lo rubio.
Lo Rubio.
Yeah. That was a
That
great
team was. I was watching them more than the
Yeah,
other
that was
team.
the first year of the blonde
Yeah.
hair.
So I love to see it, man. I baseball. I hope you're taking notes, and when I'm saying MLB, I hope you're taking notes. I would love to see an All-Star game, U.S. versus the world. That'd be very interesting to me.
You see that the NBA goes in a lot of different directions. They just try things. They can go back to stuff. The NBA this year is going back to East versus West. For
which
the All-Star
I'm
game.
cool with it.
So they try to do different things. They do the captains. They do this and that. MLB
It should not dictate the World Series, though.
It should not. No, it should not.
That's way too much.
Let's just leave the best record and take care of that. No, you're absolutely right. Those are some of the things.
Just for 1 year, I would love to see it. We do it with the kids.
Yeah.
It's U.S. versus the world.
Yes, and the futures game. Yeah,
Yeah,
MLB
yeah.
futures game, and
So-
the All-Star game. Yeah. No, they do that. It's pretty good, and you'll see like. But I don't care about like how the naysayers say, "Oh, I don't want my players going there because those games don't count." Like it's pride. Like they count for us. It's not.
No, they definitely
They
count. I
count for
remember
us.
being in Yankee Stadium 2008 with E. It counted, and I think that was for World Series.
That was the game that it went to extra innings.
Yup.
Yeah.
And I remember me and E cheering like hell for.
We were sitting right behind the commissioner. Like we were the only ones there at the end at 2 a.m.
cheering like hell for the American League to get that win.
And they did, and Jeter was celebrating, pumping his fist.
Yeah, but they didn't go to the playoffs that year, man.
Yeah.
I was upset.
That was-
But the moments, man. Baseball is all about moments.
Like you'll see, like after this winter league, we got the Caribbean World Series, which is
Oh,
the
my
winners of all
God.
the league, and this year it's going to be in Miami.
Oh.
So all the teams that win are going to go to
a
Miami
great
for that
venue.
week and have the series. Obviously, it's in February, but it's Miami, and it's a roof, so it's going to be a great atmosphere. So if you're interested in that, and want to travel on there, you're in the Florida
DR
area.
versus PR was in Miami.
Yep,
So-
exactly. And the World Baseball Classic, same location. We might see DR versus PR again there in the finals.
Let's see. I would love it. Now, it was beautiful to not have to worry about the football team that's on display right now. Both of them. I would say all 3 of them because even the Bills are a disaster at
What
this
happened
point
with that?
for that weekend. And now we're in the baseball offseason. This is the hot stove. This is probably the most exciting time in baseball between end of November, early February, because that's when all the trades, signings, that's when your team starts to get molded. You went to Vegas. What was going on in Vegas?
So every year, all the different departments of all 30 teams and MLB, so they have different types of meetings. So every year they have a yearly meeting called the fall meetings in Vegas, and then they have the winter meetings. That's in December. So I was attending the fall meetings where all the employees, other than like the owners, like have a representation to discuss best practices and to also take part of a lot of different workshops and conferences. So you do a whole week in Vegas. MLB is running it and with their employees, and you have all the people from community relations, all the people from media relations, all the lawyers meet, all the marketers meet, all the social media people meet. So they just
Me and Cabo weren't there.
they recap on the season.
Why they didn't call us?
We got to be on that social media team.
We got to get on that.
So every team selects a few employees to represent the club at the meetings, to make presentations and to network. It's a big networking event. The MLB this year did a great job putting us up. All the meetings and conferences took place at the MGM Grand. It was pretty good. And now in December, there's going to be other meetings that are the winter meetings, and those are going to be for the owners and like the GMs.
Is that in Vegas?
That
also?
one's not going to be in Vegas this year.
Where's that one going to be at?
That one, I believe, is going to be in either they move that one around every year. They do either San Diego. They do like Vegas.
It's like a conference weekend.
Yeah, but no, they also do like what they do is they do a warm weather city.
Oh,
Same thing.
okay.
So they'll either do Arizona.
It'll never be in New York.
It's going to be Nashville this year.
It's Nashville this year. Nashville has a giant convention where the NFL like combine takes place.
Yeah,
that's where it'll probably be. It's a great location. So in those meetings, since the World Series is over, all the free agents and agents and qualifying offers, that's all picked up, and people start having all their internal discussions. So now what's going to happen in those meetings, everybody's going to link up. All the teams are going to have these side meetings, and everybody's going to be discussing what you're trying to do, and just get the lay of the land. And you might see some deals take place quickly, or you might see the seeds being implanted. And then a few weeks later, you'll see, so-and-so reached a deal with a team for a trade. But not just trades. All the agents of all the free agents go to these meetings as well, because obviously they've been communicating with all the baseball ops people, but they also want to do some face-to-face meetings. And they could do that in private, and then some of them are semi-open. They'll have some workshops where everybody gets to network. So it's a very interesting meetings that take place, and the season never ends. There's no off-season anymore. As you can see with all these sports, there's always something going on, and all these things affect.
It's the off season, but this is
well, you got to lay the groundwork.
Yeah,
if you want to improve.
It's the beginning of next year already,
and everybody's in it right now. So everybody thinks they have a chance. So that's why everybody's.
I mean, come on.
Everybody's going hard to try to improve the club.
Who was the worst team last year?
Within their capabilities. I mean, Oakland Athletics, unfortunately, had a very tough season.
Oakland, if you guys need some help in the front office, me and Rick are available.
We're here.
No, you guys.
We know how to negotiate. I know how to.
Forget this small ball.
No, you guys will have to start.
Let's play big ball.
Help them pick players. Try to.
Hey yo.
Who we going after?
You're gonna have to try to do more with less. I feel terrible for the fans in Oakland. They're a great fan base. They're a traditional team, and who knows what's gonna happen with their stadium.
What happened to them? Because I remember late '90s, early 2000s, they were competitive.
Oh, they were very competitive. Obviously, they had Billy Beane.
They made it work.
An expert, like a
Moneyball.
Moneyball. You guys seen the movie? They were always in it. After they changed ownership, like around 10 years ago, they ended up, unfortunately.
They're the only Oakland team now.
Yeah, unfortunately they let Billy go, or he left on his own accord. They have new ownership. He works for the MLB office, and he does a great job.
Well, he worked for the Mets first, then he went to MLB.
Yeah, so he works for MLB. He works for the commissioner, and he has his own shop there. He works on all things like diversity and inclusion related.
You know who also works for MLB?
Yeah, Theo Epstein works for MLB. He also works on like the rules committee and all of those.
Yeah, he's trying to make baseball fun.
And all of those. That's a lot of those rule changes that you've seen.
They're working.
Yeah,
they're working.
They just proposed to shave off 2 more seconds off the pitch clock when there's nobody on base for this season.
I don't like it.
Let's do it.
So
I don't like
you got to do it. I feel like Oakland, the reason why their market is like that, besides also what you said with the change of ownership, is
so they had to change over. Yeah.
I feel like the numbers have just dwindled in the U.S. with baseball. Like the baseball culture is just not the same. Baseball is no longer sexy to the younger generation. So these rules are helping it, but I feel like an after effect of that is looking at some of these quote unquote smaller.
Well, they gotta get rid of the unwritten rules first.
Which are?
Oh my God. I've always thought the problem with baseball is, although they don't wear helmets like football players, players are not allowed to have personalities. That's the first thing. Second thing, this unwritten rule stuff of baseball. You don't do this. You don't give me like 2E.
Yeah. So the unwritten rules, the reason why they're not written, because if you actually say them out loud, they sound like something that's actually hindering your game. You were just talking perfectly about like you want to talk to the average fan. We're in America. Like football is king. Everybody knows that. The NFL is like a ginormous conglomerate. Like, nobody's touching the NFL. Baseball, unfortunately, has become more of a regional sport. And in places like Oakland and other small markets, if the team's not winning, nobody's going to go. So because you're a regional sport, you have to try to do things to appeal to a younger demographic, a more diverse demographic. That's hello.
There's no Dominicans in Oakland.
That's
also
that's where we come in. La cultura,
look
the
at
culture.
Look at the time too, though, because
Commitment,
while
yeah.
they're trying to do that, like you said, it's the last 10 years they've been trying to do all of this. Who's been killing it over there in Oakland the last 10 years?
Nobody.
What do you
Oh
mean?
no, the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
we
no
thought
longer
Oakland-
baseball culture in Oakland.
No.
Well, there's no
baseball
sports culture in Oakland anymore. The Raiders left. The Warriors left.
Yeah.
The Warriors are still right
Well,
there.
they're still.
Fortunately for them, they're in San Francisco, which is just across the bridge. But the Raiders thing, and hopefully Oakland doesn't happen.
Oakland, there's a lot of rumblings about Oakland leaving too. So
Yeah. The A's, there's going to be like some politics stuff going on in Oakland this next few months, and that's going to decide the future of. Most likely scenario is that the Oakland A's join the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. They already have set aside a potential site for a baseball stadium there.
Vegas is just getting.
But going to the unwritten rules, I'm sorry about that.
Give me two.
Yeah. So first of all is if you hit a home run, you can't flip a bat. You can't admire home run. You can't take a certain amount of seconds to round the bases. So that's why if you see somebody like Fernando Tatis Jr.
Well, stop it right there. So
Shout out to the kids.
one of the most exciting things to do is, first of all, Joey Bats' bat flips are epic.
Jose Batista.
Yeah.
Joey, if you go watch Jose Batista.
That playoff home run he hit, that was a
When he swings the bat, like those are some of the things we do in DR in our games in El Estadio Cibao.
Yeah, it's swag.
You can't show up other players. You know how hard it is to hit a home run? You know the feeling that you get when you hit a home run? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure another thing is, as a pitcher, you can't really show too much emotion when you strike out the side.
See, until that's why I said shout out to the kids, because I feel like the younger generation of, like Tatis and Vlad Jr., all these guys coming in now, they adding Ronald Acuna Jr.
Juice, like that flavor, that
swag.
swag.
The little colors, even the accessories of wearing different color accessories, stuff like that.
The cleats.
Yeah,
everything.
MLB has been trying to do stuff like that, but it's not like universal. It's just like they'll select. They'll do MLB Players Weekend. So that weekend, the players can.
Oh, with the jersey nickname.
they
I
can
wouldn't
see
have done
those-
no.
Those, the stuff, no offense to MLB, the stuff that they organize, that they're like control of, is corny and outdated. And you guys, I don't know, it's a little out of touch. When the players are doing something on their own, it goes.
Let them. Like the NFL, I'm gonna give you an example. Tyreek Hill, right? He's not wearing socks. The NFL keeps finding him. Let Tyreek be Tyreek.
Like,
People
why-
watching the Dolphins because of
Why
him.
is that a thing?
I don't. It's part of the uniform code or whatever.
But why is that a
It's same thing with
yeah.
baseball. You
He's
know
not
they weren't
gaining
allowed.
any
can't wear
advantage?
different color socks and everything. I know that.
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
baseball you couldn't wear custom cleats before.
Yeah, before that changed
It's
recently.
different color. It's even down to the color is like
That's a
it's
nonsense.
crazy.
Let them. If a player has personality that jumps out the page, like Jose Lima was a personality.
Yeah.
Let them. That just brings eyeball. First of all, we were just talking about 1998. Sammy Sosa, biggest personality in baseball. They let Sammy be Sammy, and guess what happened? They let Manny be Manny.
being Manny was a thing.
That's a thing.
He went even with multiple teams.
Yeah.
It wasn't even only just appealing to us. America fell in love with Sammy
They
and Manny.
loved Sammy. They loved Manny.
Yeah.
When Manny went to the
works.
Dodgers, they created Mannywood.
It works. Yeah.
Yankees got Aaron Judge. Judge's Chambers.
Yep.
I mean, Judge.
That was a play off his last name. He's still, he's more clean cut. But even
Yeah,
him,
he's more clean cut, but Judge still, even in the home run derby, Judge showed up with his swag. He was doing his thing. He was being himself, letting his hair down. The Yankees have, I'm sorry to say this outdated rule with the clean shaven and the haircut rule.
The worst rule in baseball is you can't have a beard and play on the Yankees.
Yes, and then the hair cannot be under the jersey. It has to be always cut.
If you want to see how much the players hate that rule, look at the players 2 months after the Yankee season is over.
All Yankees
I remember I
have
used to
beards
see
in the
Cano with a
offseason.
big, nice
Or if
shaped
you
up
see,
beard in DR.
or any former, like if there's a trade
Yeah.
or
Yeah, they
somebody
go
goes
somewhere
to
else,
another team, yeah, you
beard.
you
Look
see
at
some-
Monty.
The worst thing you
Montgomery.
could see is a Yankee, when the Yankees trade or sign a player, like they had when they got Giambi. I mean, I really don't like Donaldson. I think that was a bad move.
Or Johnny Damon, you mean? When they
Or
got
Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon looked like, who the hell's this
A
guy
whole
at the
different
press
player.
conference?
Yeah, a whole different player.
Like, where's the caveman? That's what we
Cole,
want.
when Cole cut his hair. They're a
Yes.
little lenient with Cole.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see his hair coming out of the hat.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It could drip a little bit,
Yeah.
but it can't just. There's a certain
and Cole
length.
really never had the beard going like that. He had a little like five o'clock
a
shadow.
little shadow. He never had the
but he
beard, but
wasn't,
he did have the longer hair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
if
it
a
worked.
guy,
It worked for Alex. It worked for Jeter.
If a
They
guy's
never
on-
have facial
But they
hair.
they didn't want it. They would have. Alex didn't have that in Seattle. So
But Melky
Yeah.
always had a beard in the offseason. Shout out to Melky Pereira. Always loved him.
Cano.
Cano had like he didn't have too much hair. Not Cano.
No, Cano
Soriano.
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 Alfonso Soriano, yeah.
He grew out hair too. Like in the offseason, they all have beards.
yeah. It's
When
just
are we
a
gonna get rid of
style.
that rule?
It's just a style. Like I get during the '90s and stuff, guys weren't walking around with beards. Rick, look, 2 out of 3 guys in here right now have a beard.
beard.
I guarantee you, he doesn't have it. Guess why? Because look who he works for.
Nah. I don't think. Does it go for employees too?
Yes, say yes, please.
It's not.
It's frowned upon.
It's not like a. It's
Frowned upon.
It might be
Unwritten
frowned.
rule.
It's not a. It's an unwritten rule. It's not
It's
a real
unwritten
rule.
rule.
No. For players, it's actually a real rule.
No, it is. It's in the,
So,
I know.
so they have
it's
a couple of
bull.
real
Yeah.
rules, like the no names on the jersey. So they call them traditions.
I love that. I
They don't
love
call them
That's
rules.
fine.
But for the employees, it's an unwritten rule. But it's not. If you're an employee, it's the opposite. So if somebody comes, like if we acquire talent, same thing.
Yeah.
We're acquiring talent to work in our front office. If we acquire talent from another club, that person comes with their own, like they're not asked to change. But people who've been there for a long time, they kind of conform to like a place where they feel comfortable, but they're also not going overboard. But we've had people that comes with full beard. They don't ask them to change, but they're already coming outside of the organization with that. But I rarely see people who've been there a long time with a beard. So
Okay, so I got 3 suggestions to make.
Wait. Before you go,
No, it's on the same topic.
we still haven't even got to the second unwritten rule.
Yes. So another
No,
rule.
I gave you
Ricky
one
was
about the
talking about
pitcher,
the
though.
pitchers, which is kind of the similar thing, but also with like hitting a batter.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you want like MLB even had a campaign, let the kids play, for a couple of years ago. So they were actually encouraging.
When the baby bombers were up.
Yeah, so they were trying to encourage. They even had a few commercials on it with Trout, Ohtani when he first arrived. Acuna Jr. was a big part of that campaign. Javi Baez. So they're trying to let the kids play and do all these things. But then they have the unwritten rules. Certain old school managers, like if a baseball slips or if you let the kids play, somebody hits a big home run, then you're getting drilled. And then when somebody gets drilled, then the other manager says, "Oh,
Drill
the
'em
old
back.
Tony La Russa rule. You hit one of mine, I hit 2
one
of
of
yours.
yours. Yeah,
He hit
yeah,
2
yeah.
of yours. That was his rule.
But all
So
right.
you can't let the players police themselves, and then that's why you want brawls or things that are not going because they're following this old unwritten rule, like the clubhouse demands this. Because
It's also a mercy rule where if you're up for a certain amount of runs,
you can't steal bases, especially now.
Yeah.
No,
Like, there's Yankee Red Sox games that teams come back from 5 runs, 10 runs like that.
But I think that's in all sports. You know, you never want to just pile.
You don't want to
on.
show up your opponent.
Yeah, you never want to.
But I
But
see-
there was games
that's
that
not
were
good
like
for
20
nobody.
nothing this year.
Yeah.
but that's what that wasn't them stealing bases and being greedy.
Yeah.
They were literally.
But
just
that was one of
swinging
the
them back.
unwritten rules. And actually, the player that I mentioned, obviously, when Fernando Tatis Jr., when he exploded upon the scene, he was actually not a
he was-
culprit.
yep.
He was actually accused by like some of the old school like players and fans of breaking multiple of these like in a row, and that caused like a whole friction thing. He did literally that. He did a big backflip, and like the same week, his backflip was for like a big grand slam. So I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
And then the same week, they were winning a game by like 4 runs, which is not even a blowout. It's a close game. And he stole like second and third, like at the same shot. Like at the same shot, like at the same inning.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the inning, his former manager, like a few years ago, this was like when he's like a rookie, like his manager was actually scolding him because he did this. Because he broke the unwritten rules.
So that's the problem with baseball.
I'm against the home run. Anytime you want a bat flip, I'm all for it because I'm all for the pitcher getting pumped up and getting out of a crazy jam in a big game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for the emotion. I'm not for the bat flip when you up like 10 runs.
Or if you're down,
Okay,
10 runs.
And if you're
yeah.
down 10 runs, I'm not
Well,
about that.
Yeah, you
like, what
shouldn't-
if
that's not impressive. So
that's
you
like
shouldn't
in
be
the
backflipping.
NFL when you sack the quarterback, but you losing by 40. Like, and they're like,
Or the running back when they're losing by 40 and they get like a big third down. You're losing by 40, and you do the whole
Yeah,
celebration.
the celebration. Yeah.
with
like
the-
my guy.
No, yeah.
Forget about this. Let's keep getting some of this, and then score a couple touchdowns, and then get back in the
Rick.
game, and then we'll talk.
Our Giants have been doing that a couple of times.
Yeah,
this
but
year.
whatever. I'm not even watching. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna bring that up. I'm not gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
This is a baseball episode.
Yeah, the bat flip. Yeah, I'm fine with the bat flip, but I'm with you guys. There's got to be some kind of things that if you're up by a certain amount, you shouldn't be bat flipping. Of course,
I'm not with the bonehead play.
and you shouldn't also be. I don't like. Don't bat flip and then do the pitcher stare down or mouth something if the pitcher didn't really do anything to you.
Yeah.
You know.
And I also don't like. All right, I've been in the batter's box. I know what it's like. I've also pitched to people. There's times where it slips.
yeah,
And you
100%.
hit some guy. Sometimes, if you're a pitcher, it's unwritten rule. You let the batter know it was a mistake. You go like this, like my bad, or you touch your chest, or you do something. It lets him know. But there's guys that the ball's not even close, and they staring down a pitcher like,
Yeah.
You're starting a problem.
Yeah.
Because then
Also-
they're going to really actually try to hit
Yeah.
you.
Also, look at the situation. They're up 5. You think he's trying to hit you?
hell
Like,
no.
what the hell does that do for him?
Or the opposite. Let's say it's a tie game in the 8th.
Oh, yeah,
Is somebody
yeah.
really trying to hit you and lose the game?
Yeah, you think he's over
You're
here
on the
headhunting
road.
I mean,
all
if
of a
it's
sudden.
Barry Bonds and he's batting up, bases
Yeah.
loaded, they walking him.
They're
Yeah,
walking.
we don't have any of those in the league anymore.
Yeah. But they don't do that anymore. But again, you got to look at situation. Obviously, something can flip. Sometimes a pitcher, even when they make a mistake like that, which is like an accident, they don't do the unwritten rule. They don't tip the cap because they want to try to intimidate the batter for like the next stuff.
Well,
and that also
you're
is not
always
helpful.
told, and you know this, as a
that's
pitcher,
not
you're
helpful.
always told, control the inside of the plate because some batters crowd it.
And you can go inside, but just don't go near the head. Go
No,
inside.
you want to push him back a little bit.
Don't go near the head. That's just the only thing the batters don't want.
It's called a brush back. That's what you want to do. Especially, and when you do it, you always do it in the first inning because you got a scouting report. You know the lineup you're going to face. In the first run through the lineup, you want to set the tone for how you want this entire game to be. First of all, if you got 5 pitches, you're only using 2 for the first couple innings, right? You're not bringing out the whole arsenal. If there's a guy that crowds the plate, you're going to brush him back with the first or second pitch in the first few innings just to get him off the plate and let him know, like, you need the corner or you're not afraid to go there. Because some hitters will get the message, they'll back up a little bit, and they'll try to figure it out.
Yep.
Because they don't want to get hit.
Yeah.
The other moment where the brushback works is, let's say something happened either the night before or like a few series ago, last time the clubs meet. So the pitcher now wants to not send a retaliation, but they do want to send a message. They might not want to do it in the first because you want to see how the game's going to go.
Yeah.
But if there's a moment in the game where you think your team is semi-comfortable, then you do a brushback. You don't go for anybody's head. But if it slips or if a little tight and you hit somebody in the elbow protector, so be it.
You got 2 outs, no one on base. The guy's there. You got a nice lead. And this is the moment when you do it. It's got to be in a moment where you're not going to hurt your team and you send the message. Because as the pitcher, to me, is like the quarterback. Yeah. You got to let your guys know
That you're protecting them.
that you're protecting
You got their
them.
back.
And especially if it's, like the Mets last year. Not this season, the season before.
I think both. With Pete Alonso,
When they were getting smacked.
I think this year Pete
The
Alonso
most
might
hit
have led
batters?
the league in being hit.
And every emotion that came out of Lindor and that came out of Buck, I love watching Buck's face. There was just one moment when Buck came out the dugout like, yo, come on.
Yeah,
Y'all
he didn't
gonna
even
kill
know
my
what to do
team,
anymore.
like-
He was like, please.
But
Please.
the Mets were very controlled in terms of like not responding. But at some
The
moment,
pitchers did they got their guys back.
Let
There
me
was
ask
one moment
you-
where we got into a fight, though. Lindor came out, and he just couldn't take it anymore. And it wasn't even Lindor that got hit. It was Alonso that got hit.
Yeah, because I think Alonso if he hasn't led the league the last 2 seasons, he's been in the leaders for sure of being hit.
Because,
by a pitch.
again, I'll take it from the pitcher's mentality. You want to intimidate
The best
Pete
player.
a little bit.
Yeah.
You want – what you want to do with Pete is you want to let him know you're going to go inside, and then you want to sneak into his you want to go off speed where he's good at. You want to go high and tight, push him back, and then go all speed outside. Those are the ones that he loves it out. So what you want to do is you want to brush him back, get him thinking of the speed, get him thinking like, oh, you're not afraid to come inside, and then take the speed off and put a brake on the ball.
Oh, because you don't want him to get his arms extended. So
Nope.
That's the problem. But Pete's the Mets muscle too. That's another reason why if you're a pitcher on the opposing team, you might want to go after the team's muscle to send a message.
So it brings me to my point right now. Before we go into Cabo, you were going to say something.
Say your point, and then I just got one question to wrap up.
So you brought it to a perfect question, and its needs. Like Pete is the guy for us. Lindor is the complete player. Pete's the muscle. There's some needs that we need to address this offseason. There's needs for the Yankees. So I want to go over that. But before we do that.
So, before we get into free agency, going back to what you were saying about pitching, the whole time we were having that conversation, I realized most of that stuff is probably ego-driven stuff, you know? These top athletes with the bat flip and, staring each other down, it all comes down to just ego. Yo, he looked at me wrong, so now I got to go and I got to hit his next guy. And
it's
also... The question that I have is I want to, because we all previous baseball players.
Yeah.
We have that love for baseball. We're super competitive. Put yourself in the shoes, right? You're in a Major League Baseball game. You're on the mound. You're pitching. Bases loaded. And here comes Barry Bonds. And your manager comes out and tells you, listen, I don't give a fuck what you got left in your arsenal. I don't care if you're a fresh arm. I don't care if you're a Cy Young winner. Walk him. How could you swallow your pride and your love of baseball and be like, I have to just forfeit
a run
him.
Here?
Yeah, I can't even let him earn. Because me, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what the repercussions is going to be, but I'm pitching.
So
hit
You're
the grand
ignoring the
slam.
manager's
Go
order.
I'm going to answer
And you're going to try to do your job, which is make the out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to
gonna
get
answer,
that.
I'm going to answer it the way I would. I'm on the mound, 2 outs, you said?
Yeah,
Bases loaded?
because if I'm a Yankee fan right now and I see Boone go out there and tell Cole, bases loaded, yo, walk Pete Alonso.
Because he's
I'm never going to look at
can't.
Cole ever again the same.
All right. I wouldn't do that with – you mentioned Barry, which is a completely
Well,
different
no.
animal.
I just
He's
wanted to give
mentioning it 'cause it's
just
something
any
that actually happened.
situation.
In the situation where it's Alonso, I would do what you would did. I'd go after him. If it's Barry, it's different. I need to know where we are.
It was in Arizona.
I need to know. So I'm pitching for Arizona.
Yes, because this actually happened. So that's what.
No. I want to know the whole scenario.
Yes.
Who's on base? Who's on third? That's very important. Can they run? Who's on second? Who's on third? How many outs?
I'll give you every scenario
I
that
need
works
to know
in your
what
favor.
Barry did previously in the other at bats.
He walked. They walked him.
So the thing with Barry is,
Listen, I know it's Barry.
He doesn't have a
but you
spot
still
where
He was
gotta
still
do it.
historic at that moment.
You still have to do it. You got it.
There's still no, but there's with him, with most hitters, there's a spot you can go to, or that you could go to the hot zone and then go to a spot,
Yeah.
and finish him off, right? You can't do that with Barry.
I understand. I'm not saying in this scenario that any of us will think, "Oh yeah, I could get the out."
And if I'm
But I'm
walking
gonna try to
Barry
get
and
the
there's
out.
a bump behind him, and it's just one run that comes in, and we have 2 outs.
That's what actually
And I could
happened.
go after
it wasn't
the
a
bum.
bum. So what happened was Buck Showalter. So he gave Barry the intentional base on ball.
Buck managed Arizona.
Yeah, he was a manager at Arizona.
Arizona. When was this?
Yes. In the
Oh, that's right. Because then he left.
And then he went to Texas.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, no, Buck wasn't managing Arizona by then. This was Bob Brantley.
You see,
Bob
'cause
Brantley. But
Buck
Buck
was
managed
there.
before Brantley.
He
Brantley
managed before 2001.
Yes, Buck prepared the team.
Mm-hmm.
Those were Buck's players, and then they just obviously added the big pictures. So Buck prepared a team to win, and then they won the World Series in 01.
Which has happened to Buck all the time.
Yes. Even Texas went to the World Series after Buck. They didn't win it that time.
They won twice.
They went twice back to back, where Nelson Cruz killing
Yankees
it.
won in '96. He left in '95. He left in 2000 Arizona. 2001 they win the World Series. But
Yeah. No, so this situation happened. So it was Bob Brenly's the manager. So Barry actually, he gets walked, bases loaded, the run comes in, everybody's head's exploding. So now it's a 1-run game, and then the next batter actually popped up to center field, game's over, and Arizona won. So the San Francisco
That's a
Giants
smart play.
actually lost that game that Barry got walked.
But that's why I need to know.
Yeah. But I'm with Kava. I'll probably in my
would
heart
go
of hearts,
after?
I want to
don't
go
know.
after him. In my would I be doing insubordination and like the five-man manager? That depends on the standing you have as a pitcher. I know for a fact
Yeah, like,
that
in a
Mariano
player as
Rivera
well.
has never been asked to walk somebody intentionally. He always wanted to go after it. It doesn't matter if it was
That would be
Manny Ramirez,
yeah,
if
that'd
it
be
was
a
Edgar
slap in the
Martinez.
face.
It'd be stupid.
No matter
to tell.
what, to me, if you're in the majors, you you could be the worst. I don't know who
Mariano
it is.
would never do that.
We could
I
literally
know
take
that
the
for a
worst
fact.
major league player right now. No matter what, they're still a phenomenal baseball player.
Yeah.
He made it to that level.
Yeah, they were all the
the
best kid in
hardest
their
sport to
neighborhood,
get
in their
there.
college. Everything.
Yeah, it's a smack in the face to be like, yo, listen, I know you out here doing your thing, but it's a little tight situation.
You got to give him a free run.
Go ahead, give him a free run. I get a base.
Yes.
But
Shit.
in that scenario, though,
A base is a strategy. A free run is just, I
We'll
don't
get
But
get
Barry
that
on a
was a
double play.
strategy.
It was
though.
a strategy. I don't agree with it.
It was a strategy because it worked.
No, but it was a strategy because it only is for Bonds. I wouldn't do it for any other
Yeah, but
player.
I feel like it's because of the way that it went down that people are like it was only for Bonds. It shouldn't have. To me, it shouldn't have happened to Bonds.
Yeah.
What happens if he would have struck him out? Or he would have popped out, even if it was to the warning track. A strikeout
right.
is a long stretch. But
But Barry, you got to
Listen,
understand where he was
when
that
Barry
year.
finished, if you go back and look at Barry's stats, he had always more than one strikeout. So I don't want to hear it.
No, but you got
That's all I need. I'm pitching.
you got to see that season that we're talking about when he got
That
walked.
could also been because of the fear of Barry and
yeah.
the beginning of analytics as well. So it's-
Yeah.
The
some-
pace that he was on.
some
was,
sort of computer said that at that moment there was more likely a scenario
If I got
of
gas,
the other guy making an out, which again I don't agree with. The competitor in me just doesn't agree with that.
You can't tell
if I
him
got
that.
gas in my arm, meaning I can still reach back and get something, I'm going after
It's a
the
very
guy.
small, unlikely
That's it.
situation.
That's all I needed. Yeah.
I'm going after the guy. But I need to with baseball is much more complex than any other sport because there's so many variables, right? Who's behind Barry, right? Who's on base? The outs.
Take the picture.
How's
out.
the
Get another
pitcher?
picture
That's another
if you have to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another.
that's-
How am I feeling? How's my arm? The pitcher will know. So usually, Matt Harvey famously did it. He walked. Terry Collins came out to take him out in the World Series.
Hell of a game.
Terry Collins was wrong. You should have gave Matt bat to hitter at that point. Pitching great. You assess him by hitter, right? He left him in too long. After the first hitter got on,
It was a walk, and then came the Lorenzo Cain.
yeah. So after the first guy gets on, that's enough because Matt was at a point where he had emptied the tank, and the control wasn't there at that point.
That was probably the best pitch game that Matt ever pitched.
And he was
He was amazing in that game.
He literally
I-
left it all out there because after that,
he did.
Yeah.
He did, and I just felt like Terry should have. Okay, Matt, you're making your argument. Don't get me wrong. If your pitcher is adamant about it, and you haven't seen cause for concern, let him go hitter by hitter.
Yeah, that's when you got to do the eye test. Forget the analytics and all that.
Yeah.
It's the eye test.
Sometimes you have to protect the player from themselves.
Yes.
In terms of situation.
If
I
you
would have let
see
him gone
something
out
as
for
It's
the
not a
the
regular
manager,
game.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's throwing a little different. Maybe his balance looks a little off.
You start to drop your arm when
you
you
know
get
you
tired.
gotta-
as
Not
a
all
pitcher.
100
Right.
pitches are the same sort of
Exactly.
stress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You could be 120 pitches breezy, or you can have 80 pitches that all 80 pitches you
That
were
next
struggling.
5 is woof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And the problem was you go hitter by hitter. I walk up to the mound before I go up there. I speak to my pitching coach. I get 2 guys warmed up just to make sure if I need to make the change, it's there. It's available for me. And you stall as much as possible. I like the mound visit limit that they've added on there, but this is a game of strategy. If I'll go out there, I'll have a conversation with Matt. We're in the World Series. I'm Terry Collins. You know, Matt's making his argument. I say, I'm going to let you pitch the ninth. I'm going to let you start the ninth. But we're going to go hitter by hitter. We're going to see how it goes. He's going to keep arguing. I'm going to say, I'm going to let you start the ninth. He goes out there. Then I'll have my third baseman come in, speak to my pitcher, if I need the time for my bullpen player to get warmed up, and then I come out If I have to send my hitting instructor to go out, delay it a little bit more. This is just
I
so
would
much
have
you
had
could do.
I would have had the relievers ready before, even just in case.
I would have,
because you don't have the time to spend.
as soon as he came off on the 8th, put the 2 guys to warm up.
Just ready in case.
Just to get ready, just in case. I go hitter by hitter, then I make the change.
I love the question. I love the situation. But that's why, in my opinion, that's why Mariano Rivera is the GOAT. Because I just,
100%.
as a person, as a fan, getting to know him after
Mm-hmm.
his playing days is just something that he's going to live and die with his own talent and with his own guts. And he's going to try to get the job done. And that's why he's the GOAT. He's got it done a million times. And if he fails, he's going to step up like a
Failing by
man.
his best pitch. And that's what he always wanted.
But
Mo.
that's what that's
If he fails,
the
he's-
fighting spirit. I'm
he
gonna
stands
throw
like a
my
man,
best,
and he takes it.
If you could knock
You
my
got it,
shit
you
out
got
the
it.
park, I'm gonna tip my
You
hat
tip
to
your
you.
cap.
Poppy got it.
And you
Poppy
answer
got it
every
2 nights in a
question.
row.
That's it,
That
yep.
in 2004.
That's the
But
way it
it
goes.
didn't happen that often.
Even the Luis Gonzalez single for 01,
It didn't
Mariano
happen that
Rivera
often, though.
stood in that locker. I watched that whole post game. I was devastating. And he took every single question from media of Arizona and nationwide that don't even follow baseball. Because you know in the World Series you get all the regular media.
Everybody.
Like the people who go to the Super
And
Bowl.
then the commoners.
And all the commoners, until every single question was asked, he stood there. He was the last Yankee to leave that dugout. The plane was probably waiting for him to get out of there in Arizona. And that's why, because if you want to celebrate when you win the World Series, you better be there
When you lose.
if you lose, and if it's on you, to have your teammates back.
That's why I got a ton of respect for Mo, and he 100% deserved to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. I was happy when they gave it to him. I think he deserved it even a lot more than Derek Jeter. I think Jeter went in perfect. I don't think he deserved to be unanimous, but I think he should have been as close as possible.
One vote shy.
Yeah,
I'm
I
mad-
think Griffey.
I'm mad at the 3 people who didn't vote for Griffey.
Griffey should have been another unanimous Hall of Famer.
And let's see who knows if one day Barry and Roger Clemens and A-Rod get in. Who knows?
Barry should be Hall. Barry needs to be in. Alex needs to be in.
Yeah. They have a great Barry display, and they have a display for Sosa and McGuire. So there's a display that it's not that their numbers are not retired. They don't have a plaque. But there's a display of like moments of the history of the game. So they have different moments. They have some stuff from Pete Rose. And it's because you can't tell the story of baseball without
those
Barry
seasons.
Bonds, Mark McGuire, and Sammy Sosa. You can't tell the story of actual
You could
baseball.
throw Pete Rose in there too. I know they try to,
Yep.
blackball
Yeah, he has
his
a
name and
display there
everything,
too. He's
but
the hit king.
The hit king.
the hit king.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
it's
Besides
Ichiro for
Ichiro.
me. But
Yes. It's debatable, but they're the only 2 in the conversation.
All right, we ready to get into free agency?
yeah, we are. But before we do that, just real quick, who the hell is Carlos Mendoza?
Oh, Carlos Mendoza has been a bench coach for the Yankees the last couple of years. Before that, worked in minor leagues forever. He's a smart baseball man. He's not Bulk Showalter, not the big sexy name, but I think you guys would be very happy with the calm and steady demeanor of Carlos. And this just means that the Mets are going to have a lot more of collaboration between the front office and the manager. So Stearns, the new GM, he's running the ship completely. But Carlos is a great guy, and he'll be a good sounding board for the Latino players too.
Nah.
'Cause he's good. He's very good in
That's
Spanish
what
as
I
well.
had. So I think that's what that hiring was leaning towards. Leaning towards the Spanish culture that they got there on the team, and just like even trying to like recreate some of the Puerto Rico team. I always saw that like the Met players. Team Puerto Rico is usually just Met players.
Well, we got Lindor and Diaz, but we do have a ton of Dominican and Puerto Rican players.
Yeah, no, and also a couple of obviously last season was totally messed up for everybody. But the year before that, the team won 101 games, so there was a lot of expectations. But even a few years before that, there was a little bit of friction between some of the players of like the different coaches. There was that incident with McNeil and Lindor.
That made the team go stronger.
Yeah, they eventually got it together, and that everybody re-signed. I think that this will help the clubhouse a lot. Obviously, we got to see what other pieces they get in the offseason.
All right, so you saying that, I'm going to do wait and see with Mendoza. It would excite me if they made a seasoned bench coach, like or Beltran at least. we give Carlos a try somewhere.
Yeah, you can have both. You can have Beltran as one of the part of the staff, and then
Yeah.
also have a seasoned
We need a seasoned bench coach,
coach,
though.
like a Terry Collins type. But it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Terry. It doesn't have to be a former Met, but it could be also a former Met if you want to keep
Tony Peña.
some ties to tradition, or you can go with a person with big league experience,
I would have loved Tony.
including a manager of the year of the AL winner like Tony Peña.
Oh, okay.
He won the award in 03.
No, I know. I still to this day, I think that the Yankees shouldn't have hired Girardi. They should have hired Tony.
Yeah.
Gary Sanchez would still be an elite player in the Yankees organization.
Actually,
right now.
Tony's an interesting name because, as we were mentioning earlier in the episode, that like Starling Castro is trying to come back to the majors. Now Tony Peña is the new manager of the Águilas. He just got hired a couple of weeks ago, so he might be trying to put his name in the ring back there for a spot somewhere in the league.
Okay, Mets, sign Tony Peña. All right, Cabo, let's do this. Let's do this.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is
excited for this.
I'm gonna run down. We got the top free agents in baseball, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run them down for you one at a time. When I give you the name, I want you guys to tell me what you guys think about the player and where you think he fits. So we'll start with their actual ranking. This is MLB.com's ranking too.
Okay.
So number 1, we got Shohei Ohtani. He's not going to be able to pitch next year. So at least for 1 year, you're getting strictly a bat.
All right. I think he lands in the Yankees, and the dark horse team for me in the Shohei sweepstakes is the Atlanta Braves.
I think Shohei lands with the LA Dodgers, and the dark horse team would be the Yankees/Mets, whoever doesn't do another big splash.
Okay, wait. We're going to redo your answers.
Wait.
We're going to cut this out. So wait,
Okay.
don't say anything.
Okay.
I'm going to cut that out too, what we just did. So act like I did it again. Don't give me both answers right away. So if you say Yankees, give me why you think the Yankees. And then be like, oh, yeah, I can also see a dark horse coming in and being whatever. And then
Braves
give me
spot,
that.
okay.
And then we'll shoot to him and he'll do the same.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready right now. So Shohei, I have a strong gut feeling he ends up in the Yankees as a hitter for this first year, and then they get another pitcher for the second year. I think the Yanks need a big splash. And for me, it's either Shohei or Soto for them. And I think Shohei is a perfect fit in that ballpark. He's a prototypical clean-cut Yankee player. He fits their system and their philosophy and the tradition perfectly. The Yankees have had success with Japanese players before. So I see him. Yankees is my favorite to land him. My dark horse is the Atlanta Braves. They have the money. They have the team. And Shohei could immediately compete for a championship right away, faster with Atlanta than New York, but New York has everything.
My team, my favorite to land Shohei Ohtani is the LA Dodgers. My prediction would be he goes there for anywhere between, let's round it out with easy numbers everybody can understand. 10 years, $500 million, even with the expectation that he's not going to pitch the first year. When he meets with teams are going to have to agree, at least verbally, to allow him to come back as a pitcher. That's something he wants to do. There's also rumors that he actually would not just like to be 100% a DH all the time. He even wants to dabble a little bit in the outfield. So that's another wrinkle. If he does that, he's even more amazing. But he could that's another location where he's stressing his body. You can get hurt again like that. But it's the big guaranteed money. My dark horse team with him, one of the other reasons why I say LA as the favorite was his familiarity with the area. He doesn't even have to move from his house because he's been with the Angels for 6 years. That's all he knows. The flight to Japan is convenient from LA, a big Japanese contingent there.
You might be convincing me.
I'll go with the Dodgers for that. The dark horse, it will be me. I'll do a little bit of a cheat and do Yankees/Met. So I'll say New York as the dark horse, New York as a city. The Yankees for all the reasons that Rick just said. So all those reasons are perfectly valid. Those are the reasons that they should go for him hard. And then the Mets for a lot of those same reasons in terms of the market and also the money and power that the Mets now possess, they should go after that. And the reason why I call them my dark horse, one, we don't know publicly ever if Shohei Ohtani has said he's open to come to the East Coast.
Yeah.
But if he does take meetings with them, they should try to do everything in their power to land him. And the reason why I say New York like that is because it's the media capital of the world. How you said, Japan. It's not just about baseball. For baseball reasons, both teams could definitely use him. But for a lot of marketing and big, high-end, big money production, the team should consider him. Especially the reason they're my dark horse is if either of those teams fail to make any other big splash on all these other players that Kyle was going to tell us, they might tend to get desperate.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the pockets are deep.
I had
all those
Shohei
teams.
also with the Dodgers for all the reasons you said. My dark horse being the Giants for almost the same exact reasons of just location. Being right there close to Japan. It doesn't sound, like you said, nobody said that he would like to play in the East Coast. So, the silence to me is said enough. Like I think he winds up staying somewhere in the West Coast, staying between either the Giants or the Dodgers. And good luck, and whoever lands him, good luck dealing with that.
I think he lands somewhere where Yamamoto is not.
Yes, 100%. So do I.
Yes.
So.
Nobody's getting both yet.
Yeah,
no matter
yeah,
what
yeah.
cap you have, nobody's getting both.
I think you guys, I agree with you both.
All right, next, congratulations are in order. Blake Snell was just announced National League Cy Young winner, and he is next up on the list. Number 2, Blake Snell.
All right. I'm a Mets fan, so, I think my favorite to land Snell, I'm going to say Dodgers. A team that should be looking at him is the Yankees. I'm going to say Dodgers. Snell pitched in San Diego. The weather's amazing out there. I think he stays in the West Coast. I think the Dodgers have the money to sign him. The Dodgers need to start thinking about who's our next guy. Kershaw won't be available till after midseason.
Yeah, around midseason at least.
Yeah. So
he's gonna stay there probably for a year just to rehab.
Yeah.
But they cannot count on a lot of innings for him.
They need someone to eat up innings and to be their front rotation starter. I think Snell ends up in the Dodgers. The dark horse for Snell is the Mets. We have the deep pockets. And line them up with Cody Senga. I think the Mets are going to end up with a couple pitchers this offseason, big name pitchers, and they do small moves to improve the hitting. But I think the Mets go all in with the money, and they try to use Steve Cohen to land Snell. And I think we don't do a very long deal. We'll do something similar to what we gave Scherzer. But I don't think as much money. But
big money, but short term.
Big money, short
big
term.
AAV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the dark horse strategy for the Mets.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna go with my favorite for Blake Snell for the Atlanta Braves. So, for a lot of the reasons why Ricky was mentioning the Braves for Shohei as a pitcher, I believe Snell is more in Atlanta Braves budget. If you look at the contracts of Ronald Acuna Jr. and all of their young players, they don't like to do the highest big bucks. They're very smart in that way. Even when they lose a player like Freddie Freeman, they end up with Matt Olson. So they like to lock players up long term. And I think that Blake Snell would be a great fit for them because I do not see the Atlanta Braves going for Shohei or Yamamoto. So I can see them going like, these are the type of players I want, like Blake Snell or Aaron Nola, those type of guys. But I can see Snell.
Second-tier pitchers, what you're talking about.
No, not a second-tier pitcher. I mean, Snell
obviously, Yamamoto and Shohei.
That's not. We're not gonna say second tier.
Not
he
second
just won the
tier.
Cy Young.
Yeah.
Not second tier, but
Yeah.
they're not Shohei or Yamamoto, which
Not
are
the
two.
highest ticket. Not the highest
yeah.
ticket. Let's say not the highest ticket.
But if Shohei expresses an interest in Atlanta, you don't think Atlanta would?
I do not believe
They'll try to make it work?
they'll make it work. Unless the market for Shohei completely falls off and he doesn't get the 10-plus years, I do not see Atlanta going.
Guy's
for that.
worth $600 million in my eyes. So you said 500,
Yeah.
but I think he's.
If he would have not gotten hurt and he would have
It was
like been in the
600.
Cy Young race as well, besides potentially winning the MVP of the American League,
He almost did it.
I would have said that. But no, my favorite is the Atlanta Braves for Snell. That's more of their lane, how we say with the lanes. And my dark horse is actually the defending champs, Texas Rangers. Will be my dark horse for Snell.
That's a good one.
They have obviously they still have 1 year left of Scherzer next year, but can you really count on big innings from Max?
No.
As the Mets know, no, because he's at his age. And obviously they still have DeGrom rehabbing, so DeGrom's not going to be available for big innings next year as well. So they're going to have to end up with somebody like in that nature.
Yeah,
so I can see there being the dark horse.
I like that. In the last 2 off seasons, the Rangers have spent over $800 million. So they definitely, with their new front office, they're trying to spend the money. So that's definitely a good pick.
New ballpark.
A lot of money.
World champs.
Yep. Blake Snell. So I got my favorite for him is going to be the Phillies. I think the Phillies move on.
That's an interesting pick.
I think the Phillies move on from Aaron Nola. I think he's very familiar. I know it was the American League East, but he's familiar with the East Coast. I don't think the weather bothers him at all. No matter where he goes, I think he's a stud.
Yeah.
Guy's great. My dark horse, his hometown, Seattle Mariners. He wants to stay on the West Coast. You could go right there to your hometown. They got a lot of
building
talent
something
over
interesting.
Yeah.
In Seattle's
A lot.
interesting.
Yeah, they made the playoffs and then they missed it, so they're right there.
Yep.
They got to.
They're knocking on the door of the playoffs. It could be
wealth
him
of
and the
players.
pitching staff that maybe he's the piece that they could be missing to help cultivate something they got brewing over there. So
No, I like that. They have one stud in Luis
Wow,
Castillo.
I like that.
They could add a second stud, have a 1-2 punch with Castillo and Snell. That makes sense.
That makes the series shorter for you. In baseball, you want to win series. So
No,
if you got
Snell-
2 good pitchers up top,
No, he's good. He's one of the few pitchers who just who's won the Cy Young in both leagues. He won it in 2018 with Tampa. We're talking about people like Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson and doing it in both leagues.
did
So.
Johan do it? I think the 2 times he did.
He did it both in the Twins. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
When he went to the Mets, he was very good, but
He was close.
he was close. We didn't get it.
all right.
I like this, Cabo.
I wish we could actually skip over this number 3. Just looking at his name just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
Go ahead.
Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
Cabo's not gonna like this.
Don't do it.
So I think Gray ends up in a small market team. I will take that back. Actually, I think San Francisco makes a hard push for him. I think they have a very good shot. San Fran's going to look to spend some money this offseason. They tried last season, and they struck out on the big guys. I think they're going to spend a ton of money this offseason.
Or try to.
I think Sonny Gray in that city would do good. My dark horse is the Yankees, actually.
There's no way we make the same mistake twice. Not that he's not a great pitcher.
I can't. I just said the name.
pitch.
I just said the team.
He can't pitch in the hitter's ballpark.
First of all, Brian Cashman
That's why he
made
said
a
you were gonna
big
get mad.
reference to him. This is dark horse. Brian Cashman made a big reference to him. Kaba and I were in the studio listening to some sports talk, and twice I heard Sonny Gray's name with the Yankees. So that's setting off alarms in my head. Does Cashman feel like he needs to prove a point? Would he have? He has the authority and the balls to go sign someone that didn't do good in New York, bring him back, because he made a huge reference. He said, "Look at Sonny Gray." Like people talking about the guys.
Well,
They love when I make the signings, but then they say, "Oh, these guys can't play in New York." But a lot of players, a lot of teams are interested in my players. And when they leave New York, look at he mentioned Sonny Gray was the first name he mentioned. So I know he's watching him closely. So that's why they're my dark horse.
Well, I'm going to go with my...
And he doesn't have to be top of rotation for Yanks.
No.
Well, I'll say when I get to mine.
Yeah.
He'll be after Nestor.
Yeah, obviously Sonny Gray, who just came in runner-up to Cy Young. Congratulations to Garrett Cole on being the unanimous Cy Young Award winner. Finally, he got his first Cy Young. Much deserved to Garrett.
Much,
100% deserved.
Yes.
Garrett Cole has earned every cent so far in the last 2 years.
He probably should have won the award the year that Verlander beat him in 19. But
Yep.
that's
all right.
They were teammates that year, right?
They were teammates, but
Yeah.
Cole was on an incredible run. Like from May on, he had like an incredible record. But Sonny Gray did everything that he was supposed to do to live up to the expectations of another club. Unfortunately, it didn't work out with the Yankees, but I'm glad that he had a big season for Minnesota. Minnesota is the team that should keep him. It is a perfect fit for both Sonny and Minnesota. You can't. He's not going to command the money that people like Cole and Yamamoto and like those guys and Scherzer command. So it will be ludicrous if Minnesota lets him walk. Does he get too rich for their blood? That's what we're going to find out. We got a wait and see approach. Because of that, my dark horse is what Rick mentioned, is the San Francisco Giants.
So okay. It
If
makes perfect sense.
If he gets rich for Minnesota.
But this is going to be a market where teams are starving for pitchers. So he's going to have a number in his head, and he's going to get really close to that number.
Let's see.
Because a lot of these teams are going to miss out on these big names, and they're going to want to make a splash.
They're going to
want to bring
pivot.
some people in.
Yeah. He's not a Boris guy, but I see him in Minnesota. He should stay there. But if he doesn't, if he goes to San Francisco as my dark horse, for all the reasons
It's a nice little
that Rick said,
ball club for him.
they have money. They can create their own little 1-2 punch with Logan Webb and Sonny Gray. So he will be successful in either of those towns.
Yeah.
To go back to Rick's point, one of the few places I don't believe he would be successful if he comes back to us in the Yankees.
Yeah, 100%.
Brian Cashman,
I can't see it either.
he was talking about that, and he already has actually even proven that. He already did it once with Javi Vasquez. We brought Javi Vasquez, a great young pitcher. We brought him in. It didn't work out with the Yanks. He left. He was still good again, and he came back to the Yankees the second time. He was terrible. So is he afraid to do it? No. He already tried, but just for all the variables.
Yeah, we'll save ourselves the headache and miss out on him.
I 100% agree with you, Kava.
I mean, if outside looking in, I can see why the Yankees will do it, but I have this strange feeling you'll see Sonny Gray in pinstripes.
I hope them pinstripes is the Padres or something. Don't let it be our colors.
I hope you're wrong. But what's your favorite, Kava?
All right, so my favorite for Sonny is also to stay with the Twins. The Twins, you're knocking on the door of the playoffs. You for years you add pieces, lose pieces. It's a tough town there to build something in. I think they're trending upward. He just finished second in the Cy Young to Garrett Cole. I don't get it. It's a no-brainer to me. Just give the guy what he's not asking for top dollar. Give him what he wants.
And it's a winnable division.
Yeah, and he's also very for Sonny Gray. Listen, if you put him in a comfortable situation and that's the numbers he's going to put up, leave him there.
But he did a good job in Cincinnati also.
For himself, yeah. But that's Cincinnati.
I know, but
no, but they were flipping it for pieces.
I get that, but it makes sense for him to stay there.
Yeah, it just makes sense for both sides.
It's just the market's not going to help that because teams are going to overpay for pitchers.
Well, that's where my dark horse comes in.
Yeah,
I think he ends up with the Dodgers.
Oh, okay.
I think the Dodgers strike out on Shohei. I think they strike out on Yamamoto. I think they strike out on. I think Trevor Bauer walks. You don't know what you got left with Kershaw. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I think they might pull the Knicks with Amari. You see the big names leave the free agency all within a
Plan
week.
D, F,
and they're just
G,
like, oh, shit, you know what?
plans.
Pay an extra $10 million over here to Sonny Gray, and let's see.
Yeah.
And Sonny's going to look at it like, yeah, I know I should stay in the Twins, but $10 million, let's go see what the Dodgers got.
It's not LA's big. It's not New York.
And there's a lot of different things and teams successful in LA that if you fuck up, the pressure is not all on you.
It's not New York.
No, the day-to-day,
You said Trevor Bauer, though.
especially baseball
That's going to
fans.
be the number one person I want to see.
That's the dark horse of the free agency.
Yeah, because
If he comes back,
somebody's going to get him for
somebody. First of all, Trevor should allow to continue
100%.
his career.
100%.
Especially that he proved he went his innocence. That man should be allowed to pitch. MLB should do a reparation because they suspended him. Unjust. And I don't know. I want to see where Bauer goes.
They'll welcome him back to the league. There's no way he's gonna get a reparations from MLB. I'll tell you
MLB
that
needs
right
to
now.
do something because
Yeah.
they did the guilty till proven innocent with him.
Yeah. It's one thing what they should do. The other thing is what it's actually.
Yeah,
gonna do.
I know, but I'm very interested to see where Trevor goes. He lost a year and a half of his career, and he had signed that big deal with LA.
Yeah.
I'm super.
He almost signed with
interested.
you guys with the Mets.
I know, very close.
I just off the top of my head, I know for a fact. Not for a fact.
San Fran.
I
For
don't.
some reason, I see
yeah,
San Fran.
But I definitely don't see either New York team.
No, I don't think he comes to New York.
At least because he's gonna come on a prove it short term deal. At least at the beginning, he's not signing anywhere near New York.
I think Bauer makes 25 per year for 3 years. I think that's what he gets this offseason.
I think it will be more incentive laden depending on
Yeah. Performance.
That's what
Performance
teams
and
but
innings and stuff.
How
Again,
healthy.
I think the market, right? Bauer was an elite pitcher.
Yeah, coming off of a crazy 2 years run.
It's weird, and he hasn't pitched in a while. So it's like I don't think a team's gonna give him a 1 year deal. I think the team's gonna go. They're gonna lock him in for 2 or 3. Maybe they go 2-player option on the third. There's gonna be
or
incentives.
mutual or something like
Yeah,
that. Mutual
but it's not gonna be insane money.
Yeah,
that
this contract
25
is
million
gonna
is
be-
not.
Yeah, this contract
That's-
is going to be crazy, which
That's
is
crazy
so
for us,
sad
but
to
not
look
for
at.
not for these people.
Not for baseball.
Well, no, yeah, you think about if this wasn't a thing where you don't even know where the Dodgers could be at because at the time they had got him, Scherzer,
Kershaw a couple years younger.
Urias was going crazy at the time.
Yeah.
It was just an
That's
incredible.
another-
And now
incredible
Urias
pitching
has
staff.
this
And,
domestic
Ur-
violence.
They're
Urias-
1-5
and he's
was
gonna
like
be a
5
free agent.
aces.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy. All right, that was a good one that we touched up on Trevor
Bauer.
Bauer. Okay, I'm done with pitching. You guys ready
Who's
to get into
third?
some hitting?
That's the next one's a hitter.
Yeah, number 4. Here
Give
we
it
go.
to me.
Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger had a big resurgence this year with the Cubs. Looked like him as his old self. You could play him in the outfield, play him at first base.
I got my 2 already.
Let me hear
Bellinger ends up a San Francisco Giant.
Okay.
They're gonna look for money to spend. They need a bat. He knows LA. He's played in LA. They could pay him the money he would command. My dark horse,
How much you think he commands?
I think he gets around 20 to 25 mil
Okay.
per. He's gonna have incentives in this deal.
Yeah, my number was like 18 to 22.
Yeah, and my dark horse is New York,
Which one?
the Yankees.
Okay.
I'm gonna say New York, but I mostly think the Yankees because Yanks have flirted with Bellinger a couple times,
Yeah, during the season, around the trade deadline.
and he is just perfect for that ballpark. And he would give you. Yankees need to protect Judge as much as possible. It can't be a Judge-heavy offense. I was reading a stat today that says the 3 worst offenses in New York City is the New York Giants, New York Jets, and New York Yankees.
That was tough.
Can't even deny it.
Especially with Judge in the last couple of years when he plays on historic runs.
Yeah.
So
So,
imagine if you
Yeah.
take him out of the equation.
Yeah.
if you take Judge out of the 2000, was it 2002?
2019?
To 22.
No, the one with the MVP. Not this season. The season
yeah,
before.
yeah.
2022.
You take him off that team, there's no offense. He carried them.
Yeah. 100%. Though. Yeah, the last time we made it to the playoffs.
So the Yankees need to get some bats around Aaron
No, I agree.
ASAP. And I think Bellinger fits the bill. He bats from the perfect side of the plate for New York. Kid could be plugged in the outfield, first base.
So you got New York as your dark horse.
Yep.
I'm going to actually, for a lot of the reasons that Ricky said, I'm going to go with the New York Yankees as the favorite to land Cody Bellinger. A lot of the reasons Rick said, I see him getting somewhere around 100 mil. So 20 per 5-6 years and maybe 18 for 6 or something like that. Some incentives thrown in there. He's versatile. He's a good defender. He can play first also in a pinch.
5 years. You think they're going to go 5 on him?
I think that you're going to have to get him. I'll tell you the reason why with my dark horse.
You won't go higher average year?
No, I think he'll go long term because he's been
This is the contract he can make his money at.
because because he felt, not just him, a lot of MLB players when they're young. So basically, his second real full year, he was the MVP of the National League, and he felt he got paid minimum wage for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Because he obviously his second
He was
year,
still under
and he was the
control.
MVP of the league. So he's felt that he hasn't made any real money yet. So now he's
Okay.
gonna try to go for as much security as possible. So that's where some people have to get it tricky with the incentives if you are going to include it, or if another team is desperate enough to say no incentives here, full guaranteed. So that's the actual risk. So the reason why the Yankees might not get him will be that. Obviously, if the Yankees land somebody like Ohtani, who you said they're out on Bellinger, this is I'm talking besides that.
I got Ohtani and Bellinger.
Yeah.
In the Yankees.
No, I got Bellinger
In this offseason.
getting in the Yankees. Again, he's a former son of a big leaguer. He's been Clay Bellinger, his dad. He used to be a pitcher. Actually, was a reliever for one point for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So he's been in the clubhouse since he's a kid. There's a lot of pros. The lefty swing, the power. Is he a high strikeout guy? Yes. Are the Yankees immune to high strikeout guys? No. So he's a high strikeout, high on base.
They freaking had Donaldson, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They got Stanton. You
Mike-
need another power bat. to
especially
line
from
up.
the left side.
Yeah.
Especially he's still young enough. He has an injury history. That's the only thing that makes me pause. Because of that injury history and because of my dark horse, the Chicago Cubs, which is the team that actually acquires him. The Cubs are a tricky team. They were all in for a few years. They built their core. They had big money. They won the World Series. Obviously, that was a historic World
Can't
Series
get a
for
read
them.
on the Cubs anymore.
Then they destroyed their team little by little. But now they have a lot of money in place. Their like stadium deal, their TV deal is amazing.
They just paid the
Craig
manager.
Counsell, their new
Yeah.
manager, big money. So why are you spending big money on the managers and you're gonna let Cody Bellinger and Marcus Stroman and everybody else walk?
I heard Ross might be the Yankees bench coach. David Ross.
That sounds good. That sounds good. He's a good baseball guy. He's a career baseball person. You know, always behind the scenes. Good things you hear about it. But my dark horse is the Cubs, and the reason why I say the Cubs, I think the Cubs have the money, and if they don't pivot to anybody else, if they're gonna go all in again with big money, they're gonna offer him bigger money than probably some of the other teams would for that type of risk.
All right, Cody Bellinger. Yeah, for me, I think Cody already has a contract from the Yankees on his desk right now,
100%.
and it says
No comment.
it says
blank check.
yep, blank check, and I think it says for first base. I think we might let him rock out in the outfield until maybe Dominguez comes back, but I think this is where the decline of Rizzo and the Yankees is right here. A lot of concussion stuff going on with Rizzo. Hope he's healthy. Rizzo's my guy. I love Rizzo, but
Always.
it is time to move on from Rizzo.
What
Cody-
if he comes back healthy though, Cabo?
I'm still ready to move on. He's 34. I can give Bellinger a 6-year contract, like he said, and he'll be 34
well,
at the end of that contract.
I get that.
He's only 28. He won't be 29 until after the All-Star break of next season.
That makes sense.
You know, so to me, it's a no-brainer for the Yankees. I think Bellinger wants to also play in another big city. I think he's got that love and baseball back, having that great season. I know he is a strikeout menace. Last year, he did cut it down a lot. He was under 100 strikeouts for the first time in his career, playing more than half the season. So
But
he was
those
a
home run numbers are going to go up if he plays in Yankee Stadium.
big lefty. Like I said, he could play first base. He could play the outfield whenever we need him, and that seems to be a big thing for the Yankees. The versatility that he can bring, I think it's a go. It's a no-brainer for the Yankees. Give him the check. Whether we go in after Shohei or not, we shouldn't even be waiting for Shohei's decision. Go out there and make the first splash. Go get Bellinger.
I'm saying it right now.
Bird in hand, better than two in the bush, right?
No.
you go.
I'm saying it right now.
Get him right away and then
Yeah.
Exactly
keep
what
working.
Cabo said.
Keep working.
That's what's going to happen. Yankees going to sign. The Yankees going to sign Clay, right? For
Cody.
Cody.
Clay's
Bellinger.
his dad.
Clay's his dad.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger, right? They're going to sign Bellinger, and then they're going to end up with Ohtani as well.
Oh, Rick, I hope you're right.
That-
But what
that's-
about your
that's-
dark horse, Cobb?
Yeah.
You don't need one because the Yankees got him for sure.
I'm
right?
so sold on the Yankees getting him that Cody Bellinger, it doesn't make sense for it not to happen. The only other thing that I can see happening is, like you said, with the Cubs, where
Goes
it's almost
back.
like a panic move again.
Yeah.
Listen, the guys put up 307 with us. We might have revitalized something here. Maybe we give him in the higher 20s just to make sure that he's considering here. And I think that'll be his second option, to just stay put.
That'll be like his backup plan. in
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
I think New York's war chest is gonna play a big part. The Yankees got deep pockets.
I
Mets
agree.
Got deep pockets.
I agree. I don't think it's going to take that, though.
I don't think it's, but I think that it's gonna play a key component this offseason because
When you want to get multiple pieces, you mean? Yeah.
each team's gonna look for multiple pieces, and that's gonna drive up the prices for players for other teams.
Because you get
Yes.
the bidding war.
Yeah,
Yes,
because the
yes.
bidding war is definitely gonna happen.
Yeah. You know, once you see your rival getting involved, now it's time to pick it up. Okay, ready to move on to the next one?
Go ahead.
This one's the hot one. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Pitcher, for those of you who don't know, hottest thing in baseball right now. This pitcher from Japan has won what their equivalent to the Cy Young is the last 2 years. Also won the Triple Crown in 2 out of the last 3 years. Also won MVP the last 2 years. So any award you can possibly get, he's won. Like, it don't get better than this kid, apparently. He's 25 years old. It seems like every 2-3 years we got like a new Japanese phenom. And their success rate is pretty good. And, you know, I know everybody's seen Shohei. So now this could be the next,
Oh,
you know.
and Kodai Senga, second runner-up for Rookie of the Year for the New York Mets.
Yes. Sengo was.
Yes, he was good. He,
Senga
yeah,
delivered.
he was even
Sengo-
7th in the Cy Young voting.
Yeah.
For a rookie.
In a not so pretty season, he was a bright spot.
He was a bright spot for us. Favorite, I just mentioned his name, Mets, and it's because the Senga effect. I think New York or bust for Yamamoto. I gonna say now. I was waiting for you mentioning Yamamoto's name. I think Shohei and Yamamoto both end up in New York.
On different teams.
On different teams. So if the Yankees get Shohei, Yamamoto's a Yankee. If
Yeah,
the
Yamamoto's
Yankees
a
get and the other way around. I think in this offseason, you'll see the Mets be super aggressive with Yamamoto. They are looking to line him up with Kodai Senga. Senga has been very vocal and is recruiting Yamamoto to the Mets. We have the pockets. We proved with Senga that we are able to transition a Japanese pitcher to Major League Baseball. The Mets, not like the Yankees, the Mets don't have that much success with Japanese players. We got the wrong Matsui a long time ago, and it hasn't worked out for us. But Senga has been the bright spot. We signed him. It's been good. We've got a proven track record now. And Yamamoto's the guy. And even from David Stern's press conference, pitching. It's all what the Mets are going to look for. They're going to try to rebuild that rotation. We have young hitting in the minors. We need to supplement that with experienced, high-priced pitchers. And I think Yamamoto's the guy we get. My dark horse is the New York Yankees. So Yamamoto ends up in New York regardless. It just depends on if he's wearing a royal blue hat or a Navy hat.
Yep.
For me.
Okay. For me, the favorite, I'm going to go with the San Francisco Giants for Yamamoto. The Giants, for a lot of the reasons that Ricky mentioned for other players earlier and myself as well. So the Giants, obviously, they whiffed last year on Aaron Judge. They whiffed on Carlos Correa. Obviously, the Correa thing was...
They had him, yeah.
They had him. It was a whole issue, obviously. But there was an offer there. So that means there's an offer of a lot of money that
There were
multiple
serious
people
contenders.
turned down. So somebody's going to take that money. one of these years.
Conforto was the big splash.
No, they got gun shy after the Carlos Correa fiasco, and they just...
So there's money in that war chest.
There's
That's why I'm
money
afraid
there.
of the Giants. this
There's money
offseason.
there.
think
So
it's bluff?
my guess...
No, there's money. San Fran has money.
I think San Francisco has money. I don't know if they're going
And
to go
they
all in
that bitter
and
taste
just
from
try
last
to get
offseason.
one good player. But not just this offseason. San Francisco has had a good stretch here of their fans.
Bochy just won the World Series.
Their fans complaining of them switching from their championship core to the more analytical approach and whiffing on a lot of free agents.
Yeah.
After the retirement of Posey and all their great players. So their fans are getting antsy. So I see them going for Yamamoto. Same thing we're talking about the West Coast, LA, San Francisco, the closeness to Japan, the Japanese community in San Francisco. I can see him doing that. And then my dark horse, it's more like San Francisco's a 1, then our 1A, 1B would be the actual New York, the New York team that doesn't get Ohtani or the other big splash. So the loser of the Ohtani sweepstakes or the sweepstakes of Bellinger.
It's a win-win for New York.
I would say Yamamoto's second option would be the New York team that needs the biggest splash. Both teams use an ace who's 25? Yes. Do I think the Mets need more pitching than the Yankees at the moment, and that might make them more desperate? Probably. But both teams need to add pitching. It's not. Both teams are not one piece away. So
but you guys have Cole. We don't.
You got to add multiple pieces.
So
the Mets have to add multiple.
You guys had DeGrom for years, and you guys also had Harvey when he
partially
had his
DeGrom.
thing. You guys had.
It was a differently constructed team. It was a pitching first team.
You guys had your.
And I think that's how they're gonna build this one.
No. My favorite
Pitching heavy, young hitters. We don't have a bona fide ace. So I think the Mets are going to look for that bona fide ace.
Yeah. If they miss out, I'm going to say, again, San Francisco for Yamamoto. And if he can't work something out, or if San Francisco doesn't want to dive into the big kids pool, I can see him obviously pivoting to have a bidding war or whoever the New York team is that is still needing another pitcher.
Interesting fact, Yamamoto, favorite to land Yamamoto, Mets 1, Yankees 2 in most of the polls. So
yeah.
That's why it's a toss-up.
And how Kaba said, again, he's the equivalent at his age of like seasons that we're talking about, like Justin Verlander and Clayton Kershaw, seasons of winning Cy Youngs plus MVP all in the same year, Triple Crown. So that's the sort of things he's doing there.
That's the company he's in.
He's moving into a bigger league, obviously, so it might not be that. But if you're like 75% that, you're still great.
This is like when the Knicks got Gallinari, right? Gallinari, okay, so the difference between Gallinari playing Euroball with a higher level of competition and more adult men opposed to a college player. Yamamoto's pitching in Japan, which is winter baseball in DR, Japan, and Mexico.
Let me help you out.
Those are tough leagues.
Just for anybody who's listening, Rick is a little older, so let me give you a newer reference. Luka Doncic.
Yes.
Was a kid playing with men in Europe.
He's a kid playing with grown men in Japan. Japan's a very competitive baseball town. They've won the World Championship Baseball Classic 3 times. Any player that is being looked at in Japan, best believe they could play ball in MLB.
No, and Japan is a league that has winter players from even our Latin countries playing over there.
Yeah.
Because Japan pays a lot of money. So players who are not in the majors but are still good, they go to Japan. Like players from the DR, PR, Mexico, even Korea. South Korea is a big baseball country, so they're very big there.
Let me shout out to my boy, T. Sombrito, Dominican baseball player, played for the Blue Jays. He had a very long career in Japan. So T. Sombrito, Dominican baseball player, went to Japan, learned some Japanese, had a good career, got paid very well to play overseas. So it's not MLB or bust. Baseball's a very hard game to get into in the majors.
The
so
Japanese talent level is no joke.
It is no joke.
Don't think they're a notch down from America. This isn't like USA basketball and versus some of these other countries.
But the gap has been closed with basketball. So that was the point I was trying to.
I don't agree with that. We're not going to get into that. But
we're not going to get into it. But
the
Luka Doncic. I aged myself by saying Gallinari. But what I'm saying is.
He's ready. He's ready.
He's ready. The kids play with grown men.
Yeah.
It's better than him being in the minor leagues to play in Japan. That's all I'm saying.
So for my picks for him, I got him going to the Yankees.
Is that a biased pick? Because you're
100%. It's a biased pick. To be honest with you, I would be foolish to say I don't want him, but he's not the top of my priority list this free agency. But it would hurt me to see him go to certain other teams. The fact that the Yankees have struck out on a lot of these Japanese players over the previous years, losing them to the Mets, to the Dodgers, to the Red Sox. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think they're just going to be like, you know what? It's our time to just get one of these international guys.
You think it's another Masahiro Tanaka situation?
Yes.
For us.
Yeah, I think it's, you know what? This is big money at the table. Everybody clear out. It's going to be Mets and Yankees, the only two left. They're going to duel each other out. And I think the Mets, even though his pockets might be bigger, I think he's just going to be like, all right, you guys want them that bad? Go ahead, take them.
No, I think it's a different front office-wise. I think the Mets and Yankees are very friendly right now. Steve is very good
both
friends.
of them missing the playoffs. The
They're
urgency
going to be,
is up.
You gonna kick it up a notch now?
it
you have no
spoke
choice.
volumes when we didn't even make an offer to Aaron Judge.
The fan bases and the way that right there, like stuff like that, like how quick stuff like that gets out and circulates on social media. I think that's another thing that baseball and GMs are struggling with when negotiations and stuff leak out or
Private
a meeting
conversations.
didn't go
That's a
so
problem.
well.
Yeah.
I think all these things also become a factor, you know? So I do
You
think
want to save face. You don't want your fans
yes,
criticizing
exactly. So
But I
do
think
to
both
save
teams
face and
make
the
the
pressure.
offer. Both offers come in on the same day. I don't think it's a bidding war.
Yeah, I think another situation, I think both of them have their offers already on paper. They haven't given it to him. But when the Mets get the call, hey, the Yankees made an offer, the Mets will slide theirs in, and it'll be vice versa. And it'll just be, yo, which one do you want to pay for? Because the numbers is not going to be that much off.
I don't think they are.
I think the contract is going to be
very similar.
pretty close to each other. It's just going to be, do you want to go play for here, or do you want to play? You want to play in Bronx, or you want to play in Queens?
Do you have the Yankees as a favorite, and then the Mets by default right there?
No.
Your dark horse, or
No.
they're your favorite. They're your
And
co-favorites.
this one I don't. They almost
And
like
then
my
you have
co-favorites.
another dark
It
horse.
has to duel out for them.
Okay, and then you have another dark horse.
New York is my favorite for the kid.
The dark horse, and it's only because it somehow doesn't make sense, but he's just convincing me on a lot of these picks. The Giants. I always look at the Giants. Every name that we brought up, one of us have mentioned the Giants, right?
What did I tell you when I
think-
walked in here, though?
I know you did, and what did I tell you? I don't think they're ever a real contender. I always said the Giants, I think they know we're not the sexy destination. We have the money to compete with the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees.
Judge was almost a Giant,
But
bro.
no, until the Yankees picked up their offer and did what they had to do. And then what happened? Se fue to the Giants.
If the Giants would have been a super aggressive,
Correa went to where? To Detroit?
he's a twin.
to Minnesota.
Oh, to
Into the
Minnesota.
twin.
To Minnesota. Yeah,
We almost got him.
Baez went to Detroit.
Yeah, Baez went to Detroit. We almost got him.
Correa might be available on the trade market. That's
Did
He
We're
will
gonna
be.
get it- we're gonna get
Even
into
though
the
he
trade
just
market.
signed-
He will be. He will
But
be.
the Giants, they just don't seem like the sexy name. Like when Shohei was coming over and all these big teams and stuff happened, and he signed with Anaheim, I thought it was a fake report. I was like, yo, there's no way every team in baseball wanted you and you picked the Angels. Does he know something about Trout that we don't know? Like Trout is going to guarantee his health? Obviously, that's not what happened, but I didn't understand why
I
he
think the
picked them.
flight to Japan plays a part.
So
in
why
it.
didn't you pick the Dodgers or why didn't you pick the Giants? You didn't pick the Dodgers, okay, whatever. You didn't pick the Giants because I don't think they're ever a real player.
I did.
No. I'm saying if I was talking to Shohei.
yeah.
I don't think the Giants are a player. I think they have the money. They put their bids in. If they don't get it, they don't get it. But I think they're literally the piece that just drives up the market. Yeah. Hey, if we don't put in an offer for an insane
It has
amount
to
of
be
money,
an ownership decision.
if we don't put in an offer for an insane amount of money, the Dodgers might come in and sweep them for a steal. So we have to drive up the market. If we get them, that'll be cool. That'll be great. But I don't count on the Giants to sign anybody.
They should get in the pool because
I think Giants signed 2 big players this offseason.
they've been
I don't
saying
think
that for
there's
3
enough.
years. But
No,
they
I
haven't
think
done
they.
it.
I think they do it this offseason.
I think they
surprise
do
people.
something.
I think they could sign a B tier player and a C tier player. I don't think they're really even in serious negotiations with.
No, but I think they signed 2 big pieces that fit them very well, and they appease the fans this
Let's see.
offseason.
They
And
should
they're my
try.
dark horse team.
They're a
for the
traditional
offseason.
team. They have a ton of tradition, like historical franchise.
Yeah.
And besides, like,
They got recent World Series too.
and besides,
in the last decade.
yeah,
last 15
and besides
years.
the Dodgers and us here, the Yankees and a few of the big market clubs, like people sleep on the Giants. They print money at that stadium. They print money, so they have the money. If they're not trying to spend it for some reason, for
They
some
have-
analytics or something,
they
that's
have the
something
money,
different.
but I
But
don't
they
know,
do have the
I don't
money.
know what
Front
it
office
is.
got to get rebuilt.
Yeah,
Baseball
it could
operates.
even be that. It's just something about them that just when I see,
Yeah.
okay, this big name is attached to these 4 teams: Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Dodgers. All of those it gets my heart pounding. I'm like, shit. How many times have I seen a free agent that the Yankees want
Bruce Bochy-
lose to those teams?
Yeah,
And
but
I
the
never
Giants-
lost them to a Giant.
But Bruce Bochy just won a World Series. He was your manager.
For the Giants.
You need to do something And he's your World Series manager.
And he was on the couch for 3 years because you sent him to the couch.
100%.
You send him to. So they need to do something for the fan base. Yeah. They have the money. They have the war chest.
See?
They need to be aggressive.
And if we know that as baseball
No.
fanatics,
People
outside,
are not.
yeah.
The media is not reporting on it.
no, but we still know that as baseball fanatics, we're not casual fans. So if we know that, there's no way the agents and the players and all these guys don't know that.
You're right.
So it has to put a stain in negotiations with the Giants.
There has to be something.
They were very. They were. I don't think Yankee fans know how close they were.
I don't think
to losing Judge.
I know that was the narrative and everything, but still, to me,
It wasn't a narrative.
To me,
it took
hold
the
on, hold
owner
on.
to
To
call
me,
Judge.
To me, in my head, that was okay. Negotiations have now soured. I now am gonna use my leverage to make everybody think I'm about to sign with the Giants, and then let's see what the Yankees come with. And if the Yankees don't come with an offer that matches or what I want, then I'll sign with them, yeah. But my intention is to bring the Yankees out of slumber to be like, you know what?
Fair market value. Fair market
San
value.
Francisco-
You're right. We're gonna match.
San
When you
Fran-
go to Target and they give you the price match guarantee, that's what he got.
Yeah, but San Fran offered more money.
And San Diego, for that matter.
So that doesn't make my point more?
But
He wanted to be a Yankee. Yes.
Yeah.
he wanted to be in.
I'm
But he
gonna-
wanted fair market value.
But
Yes,
it was
but
It's
how do you get
understandable.
it? You have to
But
use
E,
your leverage.
and he signed super late.
Yes.
Why?
After the winter meeting.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he needed
Late December.
as much time to get that
Because
offer for the
but
Yankees. He was
listen.
stalling for the Yankees.
The Yankee fans should pat themselves on the back
You escaped.
because
You escaped with a clean one there.
no, because it was the Yankee fans that drove the Yankees to re-sign Judge.
No, the Yankees.
Are you
were-
kidding me?
I think
the
that's
amount
the way
of
the
pressure-
Yankees they just
You-
negotiate. They
Listen,
we the Yankees.
I'm not a Yankee fan.
If you guys want to be here, the Yankees
No,
negotiate
no.
with we're the Yankees. You should be privileged
How-
that we want to pay
Pressure
you
is a
so much
privilege.
money.
Yeah, but Hal felt that pressure, bro. If Judge would have left, even the casuals were like, if Aaron Judge.
I think that deal gets done no matter what. No matter what you.
I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that cut and dry. I think Aaron. First of all, Aaron's wife and Aaron, they're from San Fran. They have close ties to that community.
It's different.
It was, you know, we don't know the pitch. It was more money.
It's different.
It was-
You're about to be the Yankees captain.
It was tight, man.
The money,
I'm telling you.
And also the money. I know we keep going back to the money. Once you hit a certain amount of money, it doesn't matter whether he was getting
but
500
the
or
taxes in New York are not
550
the
or-
same as San Fran.
No. That's one of the only places where it's equal or worse was
Yes,
to
I was-
California.
I was gonna
so
say
that was the
Cali-
only lucky.
Yeah, it's not
lucky
like he was going to
situation.
Texas or anything.
But
He
the
wasn't getting
difference
no
is
cuts.
the historical aspect. Also, like, was it a bit more money in San Francisco or San Diego? Even though San Diego wasn't really an option for
Yeah,
him, he
yeah.
never really wanted to go there.
Did not even talk about San Diego.
But they did have a slightly bigger offer.
They did. But it was Giants or
It was Giants or Yankees. But even though you can be the man anywhere, like Peyton Manning or LeBron James, but there is some sort of cachet to being a career Yankee,
Yeah,
New York
100%.
media, the judges' chamber, the captain of the team, the face
captain
of the franchise.
team.
You said it
He
yourself.
is
Rick.
the face of that team.
said it
And he's
yourself
one of the
earlier.
faces of actual baseball, as
Baseball.
well.
Yeah.
You said it earlier with Shohei. We go back to Shohei.
Yeah.
Going to Anaheim, imagine the seasons that Shohei has put up if he was in a Mets or a Yankees or a Dodgers uniform. He's the face of baseball now.
Yes.
Can you imagine if he wasn't in an Angels uniform?
Imagine if
Baseball's
Trout-
gotta hate
Imagine if Trout
the
was in an
faces
Angel.
of baseball being on the same team and not making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's been
Oh my
very
God.
yeah.
And listen,
I would say embarrassing, but I just feel sorry.
they're both going to be available this offseason. Artie Moreno did not sell the team,
I still think he will eventually. He might keep it one more year.
but I think Trout is
I
available
don't
this
think Trout
offseason.
moves though.
I think he's available though.
I think he's available, but he might move it. The thing with the owner Artie Moreno,
Artie's got to blow it up.
He had
though.
some exploratory like sales last year.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna try to do it again. He should do it quick before the value of the team goes down.
Yeah.
But all these franchises, the values always go up. But there's some sort of a reason there why he doesn't want to continue to have that in his family. So I think they're ready to cash out. So if it takes 1 year or two,
I'll tell you
he's
the reason.
76. So
Yeah, I'll tell you the reason. The black cloud of Tyler Skaggs.
that's not great. Obviously, that's a black eye for for the Angels and baseball, and they don't have a great stadium deal. They don't own anything,
And the
they just
television
sign
rights.
along. They're definitely the little brother to the Dodgers there. So that's another.
Well, honestly, no matter what they do, they're always going to be they're not even the little brother to the Dodgers. They're the little brother to the Dodgers,
Lakers,
San Diego.
to every team in California.
to
basically.
USC football in college.
Yeah, you have all the talent in the world. Going back to when they had freaking Torrey Hunter and shit, that was like the last time they were actually a pretty decent.
Yeah, when they won in 02.
Because it's not like they only have Shohei and Trout.
Yeah.
They also got third baseman, what's his name, Rendon.
Anthony Rendon.
That was a
They
mistake
signed
giving him all that
Pujols
money.
at the height of
His career. That was a mistake.
career.
on
That was a
Albert.
mistake on both parts. I
big
always say
time
that.
on him.
Albert should have stayed
Love
in St.
Albert.
Louis.
He should have stayed for a
Should
little
have
bit
been
more.
a Cardinal for life.
He would have stayed in St. Louis.
750 home runs right now he would have had if he stayed in the Cardinals.
Who knows if he even gets injured that much? Maybe his mood is better. But obviously that's speculative. If Albert Pujols stays in St. Louis, he's Stan Musial. He left to the Angels. They still love him in St. Louis, but sometimes the grass is not always greener.
Nope. I believe Trout, little bonus thing I'm going to throw in there. Trout's available. And I believe Mike Trout actually ends up in L.A.
With the Dodgers?
with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's the Dodgers' big offseason splash on my
Bonus baseball on Trout. My prediction, if Trout gets traded, which he could, if Trout gets traded to Philadelphia. He's a South Jersey guy, which is basically Philly.
God.
He goes to Philly.
Where are you going to put him?
Plus Anthony Rendon. That's the way the Phillies get him. You have to take on
Package deal
Rendon's
to
money.
blow it up.
You have to take both contracts. That's the way you get him. That way you don't have to give up a lot
Somebody's
of prospects.
coming out of Philly then.
No,
No.
Philly have already said that
gotta-
exclusively moving forward, Bryce Harper's going to be only first base, so he's not an outfielder anymore. So now they actually have an open outfield spot, and you're going to replace Bryce Harper in the outfield with Mike Trout, and have both of them hit back to back in the
And he's a
lineup.
Phillies fan. by
And
the
he's
way.
a Phillies and Eagles fan now.
Good luck to the Mets. You got to deal with the Braves.
If
and that,
he gets
that
traded,
happens,
that's my prediction. Kyle, where you have Trout going?
Oh shit.
If he gets traded.
I think it's if he's guaranteed to get traded this year, I think he just goes to whatever big market loses this offseason.
Oh, whoever whiffs on everybody.
So yeah, so if all the big agents that we said today, if the Dodgers miss out on all of them, the Yankees or the Mets, that becomes your
Dodgers
next,
have the pieces to get
you know,
him.
that becomes your next thing. I think all three of those teams have enough pieces to get him. Obviously, they have the money.
I don't see him. I see him if he doesn't. If they don't, Dodgers don't pull the trigger, you might end up seeing a Trout Judge outfield. There's a possibility.
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility.
Because the Yankees,
that'll be.
Yankees can make it, and they can
need
bring
an
him to Mickey
outfielder.
all the time. So
He's a thing. Both of them, both Trout and Bryce Harper are obviously when we talking about them together. They both came up at the same time. Always been compared. Both have some ties, and obviously Bryce Harper, as a big Yankees fan, his dad was obsessed with Mickey Mantle, and Trout is also a baseball historian and has been compared with Mickey Mantle his whole career.
Yeah.
So
interesting enough, I think because they didn't go after Harper as aggressively as they should have, and they've been criticized so much for that, that's what actually makes them go and get Trout.
Okay. I used that same reason I had a little bonus tidbit. I know we went out with Trout, but I wanted to get into, before we wrap up, Soto.
Yeah. Oh,
another
For
big
those
trade.
reasons you just said, I think that's why the Yankees whiffed on the Machado frenzy. We whiffed on. I'm saying whiff because no matter what, whether we made an offer or not, we all know what should have been.
they weren't
offered.
close to Manny.
Yeah.
And Manny was gonna be
Yeah,
a Yankee.
but and then not making an offer to Bryce. This is like generational talent. Since then until now, how many awards have these guys won in terms of Gold Gloves, in terms of batting titles?
Platinum gloves.
And now compare it to how many we've won besides Judge, we don't have anything. So we whiffed on those guys, and I think we're not going to whiff on Juan Soto.
So we're the favorite. You say the Yankees are the favorite.
Yankees are
for
the
Soto?
favorite.
And who's a dark horse?
The dark horse to land Juan Soto is going to be who I shocked you guys with earlier, the Seattle Mariners. They have a crazy farm system over there. I do think the Seattle franchise, their presence is felt a lot in baseball and in DR. So I do feel like that's a thing.
Especially with Julio now.
And now you have so many phenomenal top level Dominican athletes over there on the Mariners, going with Castillo, with Teoscar Hernandez, with Rodriguez. You know, I think it's just a culture fit that if it doesn't, go over there, I don't think he minds going to play over there in Seattle.
Oh, my answer's gonna.
Where you got Soto, favorite and dark horse?
Toronto.
Toronto as a favorite?
Lord, please, no.
Combined with
Don't be.
Toronto as a favorite.
Vlad and Soto back to back?
Yeah. Many of the reasons Cabo said for Seattle, I think Toronto's got
Culture.
They got the history. They got a team. That's enough. I think for Juan, the team's gonna matter a lot. You got to have the pieces to get him. And I think New York is, I wouldn't say dark horse. New York is the second favorite.
I think if you put, just to go back to your favorite, if he was to go to Toronto and you put Vlad's numbers with Soto's numbers against the Yankees career wise, I don't think the Yankees win a game.
It's a juggernaut. And Bo, you can throw Bo Bichette in there.
And Bo Bichette too. Yeah, I don't think we win a
Bo
game.
might be on the move.
Yeah. If he doesn't sign a long-term deal, yeah.
Bo might be on the
He
move.
wants a long deal. I think he wants a long extension.
Bo
But he's still
might be
under
available.
team control. But he does want a long deal.
Is it 2 years?
2
left?
more years, yeah.
And I think Bo might be the piece that gets it done.
Going the other way?
Yep. And I think he.
Well, this is a complicated deal because then they're going to have to take on the money from Xander Bogaerts to make it happen.
Exactly. But I think Toronto's there in New York, and I say New York. Again, I'm gonna continue to say New York. I'm not gonna say Yankees. It's gonna be Toronto, Yanks, Mets.
And then the real dark horse is?
So we don't think he's signing with the Padres, right?
Absolutely not.
And we think 100% he's traded this offseason. Because I do, 100%. I think it's official.
I think he's traded,
I think he's traded this offseason.
but it could be the trade deadline.
He goes to a
unfortunately.
big market.
I think he's on a new team before spring training.
That's the most likely scenario, but
Yeah.
there is a chance.
But there is a chance it goes to. I'm with E on
It
that.
don't make sense for it to
But
draw around.
And if
I
it
feel.
goes that way, he's a Yankee.
He definitely does not.
Mid-season, if he's on the Padres,
I don't want him mid-season if I'm a Yankee.
I want him now, right? Yeah, me too.
you guys want him now, but
I don't want you at the mid-season where we fucking scrap. I want to see what we got in the beginning. How far?
no,
we
I
take
think
him.
the Yankees are 100% in it. They're going to have a tough time with Tampa, Baltimore,
But what's the
and
dark
Toronto.
horse? You don't have a dark horse.
I don't have a legitimate dark horse because I don't see Soto. I
Resigning
don't see
with
Soto in
anybody else?
Atlanta. I don't see him in San Diego. I don't see a scenario where the Dodgers make a trade
one.
with the Padres.
No, that's their rival.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
and there's a small window of the Cubs, the Chicago, but I don't see Soto going to that type of market. He wanted first time I saw Juan Soto play was at Yankee Stadium. He hit 2 home runs. It was his rookie year, and I could see him playing in that ballpark.
Yeah.
So if you don't, I'm telling you, they land a big bat to put with Judge. Whether it's Shohei, Juan Soto, Bellinger's a Yankee to me. Ends up a Yankee, but they also get Shohei Ohtani or Juan Soto to go with Bellinger with Judge.
Oh no, this is awesome. You have us having the most successful all season of all time.
They have to. They're
Which
under
is
the
great.
gun.
My favorite is actually New York. I'm gonna say New York as the favorite because for all the reasons we talked about, like we're beating the dead horse.
The Mets have the clubhouse for him, and we got the pieces.
So I can see Soto. He obviously was way more successful here when he was playing on the East Coast with Washington. He was a phenom. With the Padres, I don't see him re-signing. He turned down multiple times big offers.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres owner just unfortunately recently passed away.
Passed away. Yeah.
So we do not
in
know
peace.
if the ownership group, the people who have to actually sign those big checks, if they're in
It's a lot
flux,
of uncertainty,
if they
yeah.
might want to slash some of that payroll. Remember, the Padres were good 2 years ago, but last year they were terrible.
Yeah,
so very
they-
very
And
disappointing.
they're committed to Tatis and Machado.
And Bogarts.
And Bogarts.
And Bogarts. And they people forget they gave up a lot of prospects to get Juan Soto. So the only way you're gonna start replenishing that is if you trade him.
If you move him.
If you trade him now, he has more value than if you trade him in July.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's why I think 100% you're going to get the most value from him in the beginning of the season, no?
Yes, you're right.
So I think that's why,
It should be now.
you have to, you can't allow the heist of the century was when the Yankees traded with the Cubs. We traded them Chapman, got back, who was it, Glaber?
Gleyber
Gleyber.
Torres as the number one prospect.
Only
Gleyber
for
and
them
some
to go win
pieces.
the World Series.
And then re-sign Chapman.
comes
And re-sign
right
Chapman.
back.
Yeah.
You know, this is before Chapman was what he is now. But so I don't think I think that stigma is still in baseball. Like, yo, you're not going to get the upper hand on us with this. There's a clear, we need to get this, a certain amount back for this player because of what we lost. And that GM, if he can't make that happen, or if it waits and gets drawn out into the deadline, he might be in the hot seat.
So Soto is a Yankee this winter. Dominguez is not a Yankee. If
No.
Soto, hold on. If Padres hold on to him and they wait for the trading deadline, there's a chance Yankees get to keep Dominguez.
Nah, Dominguez is not moving.
Hold on a second. Soto comes to the Yankees you could kiss Dominguez goodbye.
He's not going.
Padres are going to command Dominguez.
It depends.
In the midseason, they won't.
It depends.
Because the pressure's on them midseason.
There's going to be a lot of moving parts with them. As I said, the favorite for all the reasons we're saying. The only thing is a lot of people who are going
and
to
the
want
Bogarts money,
who are
man.
going to want to trade for Soto, they're going to try some of these pieces in the past that have moved similar to that, like Mookie Betts. When there's a trade like that, the team that's trading for him, who wants to re-sign him, they try to have a verbal agreement with the team where they can negotiate a couple of day period to actually re-sign him
For a
before even
long-term
going
deal, yeah.
to free agency and only do the deal if that's possible. That's what happened with Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts never hit free agency. When he got traded to the Dodgers, he resigned
he
before
resigned.
ever playing a game for them.
Yeah.
So the only problem is Juan Soto recently changed his agents. He is now a Scott Boras guy. There is no way he is going to resign before he's going to be a free agent. So whoever gets him might resign him. They're going to get first crack. But the only problem is he's going to bet on himself.
Yeah, you might be
Do the Aaron Judge. He's going to have a big year for somebody, and then he's going to be free. And he's probably going to, if he likes where he goes and he's successful, and you give him market value, fair market value, you're going to keep him.
And
so
I
that's
think
not the risk.
If I'm the Yankees, I don't have an issue with that.
I do. That I only have an issue with that if you're asking for Dominguez.
No. Dominguez only goes if they resign.
Oh yeah, that's my stipulation.
And it's only in the winter.
That's the only way as
So
a
if
fan
it's a
I'm
one-year
okay with
rental,
that.
you can't put them in.
If it's a
There's no
one-year
way.
rental, there's no way Dominguez is on the
Dominguez
table.
could be the next Juan Soto. You don't know.
Yeah. So there's
The
no
upside on
way.
that
They
kid
know,
is-
huge upside.
Yeah,
Huge
the upside on
upside.
that kid is ridiculous.
And no, huge
so
character
to
guy
even
too.
gamble his future away for somebody who
But
is
Juan's
gonna
a
be
big
one and
character
done.
guy too.
Yeah.
But again, this
big-
just further proves my point,
Yeah.
right?
Hard worker.
If the Yankees want Dominguez during the winter, it's going to cost. If they want Soto, it's going to cost Dominguez, and it's going to cost a long-term contract. If they wait till the mid-season, they don't have to give up Dominguez. They get the half season with Soto, and since he's already in New York and the pockets are deep, he's not going to leave New York.
Yeah, but the only problem with that, the only wrinkle in
It's
that,
Scott Boras.
there's two. Scott Boras is one, and the other wrinkle with that is you're acting like the Padres have to negotiate with the Yankees. So let's say the Yankees are unwilling to give up Dominguez, and the Mets are willing to give up whoever,
Mauricio.
or the Dodgers, or whoever the other team is. So you can lose your opportunity to acquire him. So then you're gonna have to pivot to, hopefully he reaches free agency, which he will. And then you just have to make the highest pitch there. But the problem is you might not have the opportunity to even say, oh, no, we're not going to do Dominguez. You say, we're not going to do Dominguez. They might hang up the phone and trade him to the Mets or whoever, and that's another problem. The only other thing with that, as I say, my favorite is New York, so Yankees and Mets, depending on who doesn't get who, that will be my Soto favorite team. But my dark horse is a team we haven't mentioned, and it pains me to say that my dark horse in the Juan Soto sweepstakes is the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. Yep.
So the Boston Red Sox just happened to have a whole upheaval of their front office. They went for a few years being very analytically driven, and they just hired a bunch of people in the front office that are former players, and they're going to try to do more of a mix of actual scouting and analytics, but not just analytic dependent.
He also fits in that ballpark perfectly.
So, and they can try to do a back-to-back of Rafael Devers and Juan Soto, and then those are two other players that killed the
Devers, what
Yankees.
a fucking player is Rafael Devers. Oh, my God. I love that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that package is actually easier in terms of what they're going to give up, because you figure they're going to probably have to center the package around Verdugo, a couple minor leaguers. They have a starting pitcher that's pretty good. I forget his name, something with an H.
Yeah. But the other thing is, if they get into that, they are actually willing to do it and not negotiate. Like they say,
Yes.
Well, we want to talk to Soto
We'll
to
make the
negotiate.
trade.
And Boras says, no, we're not talking to nobody. They might say, yeah, we'll still do the trade.
Yeah.
And the Yankees or the Mets, what if
We won't do that. I think
because of the
we need
package.
the
That's what I'm
financial.
saying.
because of the package,
Like
you want the
you're
commitment.
losing Verdugo, who's a great player, but I'm still.
he's
I
not
think-
Mookie Betts.
Yeah, he's not
No,
Mookie
he's
Betts.
not.
I
Whoever
think-
wins the trade is the team that gets the player, the star, the superstar, the
Yes.
megastar. When you're trading players that are similar, equal, either young prospects or stars, anybody can win the
they
trade.
cancel- yeah,
And
they
hopefully it's a
cancel out.
win-win.
You'll figure that part out down the line.
But in my opinion, the team that wins the trade is the team that actually acquires the player. Prospects are great, but it's not guaranteed.
Yep.
The team that gets the actual star is the team that wins the deal.
So in free agency, there's always dominoes that need to fall first. So I'm gonna give you my two, and then you guys could chime in. On the hitting side, believe it or not, is Soto.
Oh, so you think the trade market picks up before the first big sign?
Yes, I think Soto needs to fall before they start signing the free agents, and I think Ohtani on the
Pitching,
kind of pitching hitting
kind of pitching hitting.
is the first guy. He needs to fall first. Like he needs to sign somewhere first, because he's gonna dictate the rest of the market, not for hitting, but also for the pitching. Because he's a weird player. Like he's a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah, he's a unicorn.
Yeah,
Modern day Babe Ruth.
So Ohtani has to go first, and Soto has to be traded in order the rest of the market to go.
That makes sense because Ohtani's the biggest fish, obviously, anyway. So you're trying to say Shohei Ohtani has to dictate the actual top of the market, and everybody else is going to be following line beneath that.
Exactly. And Yamamoto goes right after.
Yeah, I
Shohei.
believe Yamamoto goes first because when they post Yamamoto, they only have 30 days to sign him. So there's an actual deadline on his signing versus all the other players. They can go to their winter.
Pitching wise, I think Ohtani goes and then Yamamoto.
I think pitching
goes.
wise, Yamamoto's going to go first.
They go on the same week, as a matter of fact. I'm pretty.
And I think Ohtani waits. I think he's going to wait, take the wait and see approach, unless he has some sort of contract in hand by somebody and he's just waiting on.
I think these deals are.
I'm doing
these
these
offers
visits.
were already put in.
Yeah. But as every offseason happens, there's always somebody who lingers into January, February.
Yep.
So
And
let's
that'll
see.
be-
Hopefully it's not Ohtani because he's the biggest story.
I'm gonna tell you who it is. It's Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger?
No.
I'm
way.
going to go the
He
opposite.
lingers.
I'm going to say the first hitter that takes the market is Cody Bellinger.
Yep.
And I'm going to say the pitcher is Yamamoto. Yamamoto has a 30 days posting fee. I think he goes first. And then I think everybody starts scrambling from that. I think the trade market is going to take a back seat to the free agents. And then the trade market is going to be dictated by the people who,
After the first 5 dominoes. have
after the
fallen.
dominoes fall, oh, no tengo nada.
Once all the
Let
teams,
me go get
yeah,
something.
Once all the teams can start seeing the way their free agency is shaping up, our top 3 key acquisitions are off the market now.
But Soto's gonna
Let's-
be the
let's
big
go.
fish.
Yeah, of course he's still the big fish, but I think even him, I think he's not getting.
He's
dealt.
traded by January.
He's February.
my eyes.
February. I do agree with your
Go ahead.
picks. First one to fall. I think the first big name to fall is going to be Cody Bellinger. I think that deal, like I said, is he has contracts already filled out with the blank check. He just needs to know what position and what Yankee uniform. I mean, what
What number in the
uniform.
Yankees he's gonna wear?
You know, we don't have a lot left, but
No names. No, we have a ton left. People, you know.
yeah, you want to win 97? You can go win 97.
Aaron Judge is 99. He's the
You can wear 98, Cody.
You can win 95. He was born in 95.
Look how famous the 90. It's the most famous jersey we have at this point. All the kids wear it.
So, and now in terms
My son
of
has
pitching,
a 99 jersey.
Yeah, my nephew too.
A Judge
He
jersey.
loves. He Judge is his guy.
in terms of pitching, I know Yamamoto has the 60. What is it? 60 or 30? 30 days.
It's the 30-day window.
It's 30
right?
day to
30-day posting window.
30-day posting window.
I know
'Cause-
he- I know
and
he
then
has
after
that.
you agree to term, after his team in Japan accepts the money
Yeah.
from a team, then he has 30 more days to negotiate with that team.
Yes.
Yes. And obviously, if there's no deal reached, the team has to give the money back.
And they have to
Okay.
repost.
Okay, so I do believe that he will be the first pitcher to sign and set the tone for everybody.
He sets the market.
However, there's always like that one name that everybody just glances over in free agency that's really a solid piece, and I think he won't get what he deserves. It'll be slightly less. I think Aaron Nola will actually end up being the first pitcher to fall, and I think it'll be maybe by like the Dodgers or something. We'll just be like, you know what? Before the chaos for all these pitchers this free agency starts, let's go grab up a solid guy real quick,
I like that.
lock him down, and now the free agency can begin while we already solidified a decent
I have a
piece.
player like that.
But
and it's
Nola's
not Nola.
not going to sign, though. He's going to wait for...
That depends on
I
the
don't think
gonna
contract.
Nola
wait.
has
He's-
the market that Blake
he's
Snell
gotta
and
wait for the
everybody else
market.
has.
It depends. It depends. Every situation is different. I like the idea. I have a different person for that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think the person that's under the radar, that can sign quickly, and for good money, not super duper star money, but for good money and stays put, is a starting pitcher as well. But it's Jordan Montgomery
I love
signing
Monty.
with Texas. I think he re-signs with Texas. He gets between 80
He's
and
not
100
going
mil.
nowhere. He's
Love
gonna
it.
get
And
paid.
I think that's the under the radar. He's not setting a market. He doesn't have to wait for anybody.
By the way, Montgomery ends up a Met in my...
They
It-
gave
you're-
up
free
Monty
agency.
for
I got him
Bader.
for Texas.
Got him for we let him go for Bader, right?
For Harrison Bader and then Bader. And Bader's actually a free agent now. Obviously,
I like
smaller
Bader.
potatoes. I like his attitude, but he does.
Bader fit well with the Yankees.
He
by
did
the way.
get hurt a bunch.
He was
a
like
couple of
Gardner
times.
2.0.
Yeah, he got hurt a lot. And he's gonna sign a deal Bader for anybody for 1 year to prove it.
Yeah,
to
100%,
reestablish
yeah.
himself. I can see somebody adding him as like
Bader-
their second or third free agent.
Bader, if you're listening
Pitcher
to
available, the White Sox star.
Dylan Cease,
Who?
No, it's with a G.
this,
Lucas
Giolito.
Giolito.
Giolito's going to be available this offseason.
Yeah, we seen that though. He's hot on the trade market. I don't
Available
think,
this season.
I don't think he's that sexy talent either. I think that's one of those guys that he's in a market that fits him, fits his play style. I think the second he leaves out of that franchise, he's just
No, I disagree. I think
I got another dark
he's
horse.
going to be under the
I have
radar.
another dark horse available.
He's going to be
place.
somebody's second, or fourth pitcher in the rotation, and I think he's going to be good.
But
I got a
that's not what he is though. I'm sorry. But Giolito is not a third, fourth, fifth person in the rotation. So if you're signing him to be in the third,
No, it's
fourth,
gonna be
fifth
a trade.
rotation, but either way, he's not. That's not his talent. What is he? The ace or is he second right now?
I think he's second.
He's
on
second.
He's
to
behind
Cease
Dylan
right
Cease.
now.
Yeah. But that's that's their 1-2 punch. So if
But
he goes, I don't think
You
anybody.
telling me the Yankees won't take him? Fourth starter?
Yeah, but
couple
I don't think he's first. Why would we be going after a fourth, fifth starter?
Because the Yankees end up with a solid 2 and 3 this offseason.
I think if the Yankees go out and was to start the free agency by signing Giolito,
It's cold.
I think everybody
Two.
loses their mind. Everybody,
No,
the
no,
fans
no.
riot. We burn down everything.
Giolito
Even though he would be a solid move,
It's
but-
not the move
No,
that
no,
we're
no.
looking
But
for.
exactly.
It doesn't change
You're waiting for
anything.
Yamamoto
He's
and
not-
you get Giolito.
No.
People are gonna
no,
complain.
No.
I get it.
No. That's not what I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the Yankees end up with Cole, another pitcher they sign.
Yeah, but you said he starts free agency.
No. I said under wraps, nobody's talking about it. That's
okay.
available. Is
a
him.
trade for
But,
Giolito.
yeah, I'm not
Giolito.
and assign a big picture.
And they're signing a big pitcher.
Okay.
That's the Yankee rotation, along with Nestor.
What are we giving up?
So
for
it's
him?
Nasty Nestor. Let's say you
You said
get,
Shohei.
let's say Shohei, right? Nasty Nestor.
It can't be
Cole,
Shohei this year. 'Cause
Giolito.
He's not in the rotation this year. Nestor.
No, not this year.
Oh, yeah.
Shohei,
That
I
is
mean.
true. Yeah, he's only hitting
I
this year.
think the Yankees.
Long term, you mean long
The
term?
Yankees get Cole's partner,
Yeah.
which is not Nasty Nestor. Nestor becomes a third pitcher.
No, the thing is, unfortunately, they signed Carlos Rodon for $160 million to be
Yeah.
the second player.
Rodon
you
figures it out.
He has to be in the rotation.
Got to figure
He's
it
gonna
out.
be there, but he'll be the fifth starter.
He has to be in there, though.
He'll be the best fifth starter in baseball.
He's the fifth.
I hope you're right.
Yo,
Gotta
Rodon
figure
or
it out.
Giolito who, at this point in time.
At this point in time, I would say Giolito.
Yeah, even though Rodon has more of
If
more,
you go
more
back
actual
1
talent,
year,
if
that's
he's
what I'm saying.
healthy,
You go back 1 year, 2
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
It's not even a thought to me.
Yeah. My dark
different
horse
caliber.
person that's not nobody who's a free agent. It's a person who's under contract. He's a well-known name, and he is an amazing player, in my opinion. He's a bit older, but my under-the-radar person that might get traded this offseason that nobody's talking about is St. Louis third baseman Nolan Arenado.
Oh, God.
Nolan
how
Arenado.
sexy
That'll
would
be a
that
St.
be?
Louis might break up the
a
Goldschmidt
mistake.
Arenado combo.
Talk to me. Where he's going?
If they're and who know the person who gets Arenado is one of these teams that loses out on all these players.
I'll
And
lose out
the
if I'm the
Yankees
Yankees.
or the Dodgers or somebody is sitting there holding the bag. The fans are
Prototypical
gonna
Yankee.
riot, and then
Cashman,
what
if-
you have to do is you have to go into the trade.
Prototypical. He'd be perfect in New York.
Cashman, if you're listening,
Yeah.
the only way to make it right with us diehard Yankee fans for that Donaldson bullshit you put us through
Oh my God.
is you get us fucking. I don't care if we get all the players we said in the free agency.
I-
Get us a third baseman, and you get Nolan.
Hold on a second.
We'll give you a little extension on your contract.
Oh, I was about to say that.
Give
I
you a
was about
little
to say that.
extension.
Yo,
Give you something.
Arenado ends up a Yankee.
Yeah, out of
Cashman brings
nowhere.
him here.
Out of
All
nowhere.
right, you can rock for 2-3 more
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
we won't
yeah.
get on your back.
Yep, I
You
got
got
you.
us a solid piece.
One that wasn't even known to us. I'm with that.
solid piece.
And he signed for 2 years, and there's a third year that's like an option. So
And he's
goes
under
under
in
control.
front of Judge in my batting order.
So you got him leading off because Judge is batting second.
No.
No, Ricky doesn't like the hitting second.
I hate
your
that.
best player.
I
I
hate
get
that.
that, but analytic wise, it
I'm
does
old
make
school.
sense. You
I'm
get the
old
most.
school.
You get the most.
Ricky
batting
likes
appearances.
his best player hitting third or fourth. He doesn't like hitting second.
I'm old school. I'm old school.
I like
And-
three.
and
I
We've
don't
had
like
this
four.
discussion before.
We've
I
had
don't
this
like
discussion.
4.
I'm old school. I need my best on base guy leading off
Or speed.
My
Or speed at the
speedster.
top.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
speedster. I
Contact.
need a solid contact hitter at second, similar to my first hitter,
Yeah.
but this more contact guy.
get
My
out.
best
Average hitter,
average
power mix.
power guy
Yeah.
third. I need my straight. Alonso's prototypical four.
I need my
for me.
Big bopper,
roids.
four.
I like to
Big
say my
bopper,
roids. I
four.
need my roids at 4. Whoever's
Yes,
the
yes,
biggest
I
guy
do.
on the team, that's
And then a
what I
big
need.
RBI guy at fifth.
Yeah.
I need a huge RBI guy at fifth.
Yeah.
In 6, I like a combo of average and look some pop in the bat.
That's why I start to do my right, left, right, left.
Yeah.
Then you go right, left,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
maybe you want to circle.
And my ninth
Whoever's
hitter needs
9,
speed at the
needs
bottom.
speed at the
Yeah,
bottom.
9
That's
is.
mine.
I always say 9 is the second.
9 is
lead
so
off.
important.
I don't
man.
like the.
9 is the
I don't
second
like the
leadoff guy.
slow catcher hitting ninth. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like
I
that.
He's
Teams
got to
go
be
with that.
8 or 7. For
Yeah, have me. I like the speed at ninth.
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
don't-
have to be a guy who hits 300, but somebody with some
It's
basic
your,
speed.
whoever I would have put, like let's say I got player A batting leadoff.
Yeah.
And it was up to player A and player B to bat leadoff. Player B, no matter how good you are, if you're not batting leadoff, you're instantly 9 for me.
Yes. So I can see that. So
It has
player-
nothing to do with you being at the bottom of the lineup, but I think you're good enough to get it restarted when the lineup resets.
So when player A,
Somebody who can handle a bat.
when player
Yeah.
A is sitting for a couple of days or gets it, like player B who's hitting ninth, he goes back to one.
goes-
Because number 8 is going to be my catcher. That's usually in baseball automatic out.
My
unless
greatest
you're the
leadoff,
Phillies
Ricky
or the
Henderson.
Dodgers.
My favorite 2 hitters that I think the best 2 hitter I've ever seen. Again, people are going to be shocked. I think Derek Jeter was perfect in the 2-hole.
Yep.
Yeah, he was good.
He has all the tools you need at that spot. I would always put A-Rod. I think A-Rod was the greatest player of all time. A-Rod third. And,
High praise.
and if you give me, if I have Bonds, I'll put A-Rod third, Bonds fourth. Alex is gonna see a lot of strikes. And then you give me whoever else is in the line. You think I
See,
got Henderson,
after
Jeter,
that, you don't have to do
Henderson,
anything.
Jeter, A-Rod, and Bonds? Oh my God.
No, that's,
But I'm very old school. I'm not.
That is old school.
I'm not a fan of
you don't like
having-
Mookie Betts and Mike Trout hitting second and none of that.
Mookie. I can see. Judge, I can't.
See, Mookie,
Freddie Freeman,
Mookie,
you don't like
no matter
hitting
what
second.
he's doing, I want him
Freddie-
leading.
Because Mookie led off this year.
Yeah,
and
that's
Freddie
what he
gets
should
second.
be. That's what he should be.
I could see Mookie or Freddie in the two holes. I could either one.
Who batted cleanup? Turner?
No, Turner was in the Red Sox this year.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it was their catcher.
Damn. Will Smith.
Will Smith. Sometimes it was Max Muncy.
Muncy, that's
they
who
used to
I
do the
like
matchup.
Muncy.
They did the matchup.
Yeah,
after
yeah,
that.
exactly. That's the way I like to go. But they go with the number 2.
But they went with their best 2 hitters one too.
Nah, man.
Number 1 is still your leadoff
Historically,
guy.
your
A lot of
leadoff
people
guy.
wanna
And
do-
number 2, I know that's the way we're supposed to go, but statistic-wise, it does make sense.
Atlanta did the same thing
with
with
Acuna.
Ronald Acuna Jr. hit
You
it
want
first.
your best
and Matt also hit
player-
it second sometimes.
You want your best players at the top of the lineup
I don't
in
like
first
that
and 2
second.
because you get the best.
I'm not
you get the
sold
most
on it,
at bats
man.
out of them.
No, I like Acuna leading off because he stole 70 bags.
I'll give it to him.
I don't want him
there.
leading off.
Yeah, but
I want him second.
But,
But
he,
he's got the tools for either slot.
he has a tool for
to
all
me-
the slots.
to me-
To me, I can have
To me, if you have the
pause.
tools for
He
number
has all
2,
the
you
tools
should never
for-
be number 1.
yeah.
Acuna could bat third for me also.
He could. He lost a lot of RBI opportunities but obviously he stole all those bases. But
I just think
it
you
depends
need
what your club
Jeter
values
type
more.
of player second always. Not. Judge is not that. He should be third or fourth no matter what.
Statistics will show you otherwise.
I don't care. Judge needs to be third.
But that don't make sense. How can you pitch that if you don't have nothing to stand on?
My thing is this, right? The Yankees don't have an option to put it to. I think Gleyber's a perfect guy. They need to make him the 2.
I'll tell you how important I
build him
think
to
that
it.
number 2 spot is. If you go back to the 2022 season where Judge bet it all on himself and wild out and won 60 games or whatever.
Most of his games were at 2.
For us, if we was to put him at number 3 or 4 for that season and not at number 2,
No,
our
I
season
wouldn't
looks
go
different,
4 with him.
and so does his, because he doesn't come up in so many clutch at bats. Where you put
And also
your
the
leadoff guy.
total plate appearances. Is a lot.
That's what it is. It's it doesn't make sense. If my guy's gonna bat 320 all season,
he's a
I'm gonna get him
prototypical
600,
three-hitter.
700 at bats. I'm gonna try to push.
I can see both sides of
you
it.
know.
He's a prototypical.
If I have
three-hitter.
all the tools available, I prefer a more traditional lineup. If I have all the tools available,
That's in the
if I
perfect
don't have a great
so,
leader,
So
I
that'll
get
be
it.
my thing. In the Yankees right now, who would you put at number 2 if it's not Judge?
you don't have that option right now.
Yeah.
But Judge is historically.
Pete
he's gotta-
Alonso
he's gotta
should
be in the
not
third.
ever bat number 2.
No.
Right?
He
Agreed.
shouldn't-
He's a 4. He's a cleanup no matter what.
He's a straight 4.
He's a
I don't.
straight-
I
that's-
don't even like.
that's how I look at
they
him,
put
yeah.
Pete at 3
I
sometimes.
don't
he
wanna
can be
no.
3 sometimes. I'll
I
tell
don't
you why
want
the
to see
reason.
that either.
The reason
I
why
don't
you
see it, but
The
they do
first
it.
inning at bats.
Some teams love to have the guaranteed at bat in the first
Yeah.
inning.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do that especially with the stars, especially at home.
Well, our issue is we
shouldn't
don't
be
have
that.
a solid 2.
But it is that.
We don't have a solid 2 hitter. Lindor can bat 2 or 3.
Why
That's
is
our
McNeil
issue.
not number 2?
McNeil's not a 2 hitter.
Why?
McNeil's a knife. For me, Jeff is an average guy.
Yes,
So I need
clearly.
Jeff. I need Jeff at 6, 9, or 1.
You can't be 1 because you guys got
We got Nemo. He sets
Nemo,
the table
yeah.
perfectly.
And he's way faster.
We don't have a prototypical 2 hitter.
It has to be Lindor.
So where's-
He's the most versatile.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Lindor-
where's Lindor batting right now?
Lindor bats 2 or 3.
See, Lindor batting 3 is crazy to me.
He did bat 3.
He has-
should be
like half
batting-
of the year.
But
He,
he
should
has
be
the
batting
tools.
1 or 2.
Yeah, but he has the tools for it, and he's a switch hitter.
And when he
Because
was
in-
he's a
reason
switch
to be
hitter, he
number
should
2.
be a second.
Yeah.
when he was in
Yeah.
the guard and not even the Guardians back then,
Indians.
but when he was in Cleveland, he always had most of his years. He had 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But he was stealing 50 bags and
I'm
40
leaving
bags.
him at 1 and 2. He's just I could look at him and tell as a baseball player, you are a leadoff or number 2 hitter.
I think a 3 hitter needs to be the 5 tool.
If you don't have a person in
Ken
there,
Griffey should never be batting second.
A-Rod was a natural number 3 guy to me.
And Griffey's a 3 guy. There's certain
Griffey's a
guys that
3
are
guy.
3 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they were together, obviously A-Rod was
Judge
younger.
is not. this
A-Rod was
just-
a 2, and Griffey
Judge
was
is
a
a
3.
3 guy that if continues.
Judge is a 3 guy, but
They
we
don't
don't have
the,
anybody.
They don't have the people. For
So
it.
I'm fine with them putting him there. I don't even like Stanton at the 3. Stanton to me is a 4.
They do that sometimes because again,
Stand strictly 4 or 5 guy.
4 or 5.
he
yeah.
should be a 4, 5, 6 guy, and who knows if he should be a platoon guy, but he still crushes lefties.
I like the fact that I love this episode. I like the ideas because Cabo say he brought a Bauer. That is
That's
an
a good
interesting.
ending.
And then we're talking about lineups right now.
And we're talking about under the radar trades.
Yeah.
Who's your under the radar player who's nobody knows that's available?
Yeah,
that,
you didn't say
if they
yours.
become available via trade, not a free agent.
Oh, that
Like-
I could just pick anybody. That I
Yeah,
think would be-
but semi like
But
plausible.
it's
yeah,
feasible.
It's
You
not
see
like
the-
obviously Mookie Betts is not going to be available,
Yeah.
or or Ronald Acuna Jr., who's only making $100 million for 8 years.
and it's not anybody that might be hinted at because I
Yeah,
actually
people who are not being rumored about right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove Stanton from that.
There's a possibility he gets moved.
Yeah, that's why that's why he has to remove him because
Yeah,
there's a
That's
possibility.
there's already a
if
possibility
you
around
swallow enough of the
that.
salary,
So I'll
yes.
take Stanton out of it. I don't know. I would have to sit there and think. I would like to say Mookie.
Betts?
Yeah,
It's not. I don't think it's
I don't
feasible. It's not
see-
feasible. No.
but I don't see how the Dodgers could pull off so much other shit, like all the signees that we were talking about, and still keep intact what they have.
They have money to get one more big bat or one more big.
They're not
pitcher.
planning to get one more. They're not one player away from being a World Series championship
I think
team
Sandy
no more.
Alcantara is another under the radar.
I think the
guy.
Dodgers will
And he's
blow it up
going under
before we know
surgery.
it. Sandy's a great one.
Because you're acquiring him, but you know he's gonna sit out a year. But he already signed his
Sandy's a
extension.
great one.
So you have him for 5 additional
Yeah.
years. That's a
Sandy
Chisholm's
is a
another
great
one in
one.
Miami.
I would have went okay. Now we get into it. Yeah, Chisholm is I think a crazy upside. I think he brings a lot of swag to a team. I think he'll
One
sell
of the players
jerseys
that
no
MLB
matter
needs.
what.
Yeah.
Just got the cover of the last MLB.
show.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of upside with him. I think if he's available, anybody from Miami, I think I'll jump on it.
Yeah.
Miami's just
Lopez
a breeding.
also from the Twins.
Miami's
No,
literally a
they just
freaking
got him.
breeding
He's not-
ground for the MLB right now. Like Miami's literally the minor league team. Just because they're not making it to the playoffs, they're just getting right there on the cusp and just showcasing how much talent they have and keep bringing up every season. And I think
Shout out to Schumacher, manager of the year.
Yeah, just one
from
manager of
Miami.
the year. And shout out to Kim Eng, who she is an amazing
She's
personality.
Not in the front office, but she's gonna land in another front office.
Yeah, she, the Marlins, I don't know what they're doing. They recently tried to hire a president of baseball operations above her after the amazing job that she just did putting that team together. So good for her. She decided that
I knew the Marlins were in
she
trouble when
wants to
Derek
be
sold
her
his
own
piece.
boss. So
give you this. Before we end it, one last thing because it just popped in my head. I can't think of his name. You guys help me out. Best pitcher on the Brewers.
Corbin Burns.
Oh, Burns.
They
Corbin
said
Burns?
this week
Yankee.
that every single person on the roster is available.
Ricky, why you say the Yankees? It has to be the Mets.
No,
the
no, no,
person
no,
who put
no.
together the team is the president of the Mets now.
Okay, but I'm
So
gonna-
he knows the
I'm gonna-
team
I'm gonna
intimately.
tell you guys something, right?
You know, I like him in
I
Milwaukee. Now that
criticize
you
the
mention
Yankees a
it,
lot.
and not because he's a guy from my hometown and who I like personally.
Yelich?
He's not a star. No. Willie Adames.
Oh,
So
I love
Adames is
Adames.
from he's from my hometown. I love
Good
him.
role
Lovely.
player.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
He could be
outside.
more than a role player. He's not a superstar, but he could be more than a role
Willie's
player.
a solid
Like
piece.
VR.
I think he's
how I feel
great
about
fielder.
Jonathan VR.
He's
speed.
underrated, and he's still young enough that he could still be a very, very capable starter for a good club. So I can.
Can I make my point? though,
Hopefully,
about
if he
the
gets
Yanks?
moved, he gets moved to a good place. And I would love to take. I'll take him on the Yanks. Put him at
Yankees
second.
off season right now. 2 big moves and 2 medium moves. That's why Corbin would fit in there, and a surprising gamble on a player with tremendous upside, low risk, high reward type of guy. Cashman loves those. That's the Yankees off season. 5 players come to New York this season, off season.
That's a big
in
offseason, right?
that's a huge offseason, huge overhaul. It would appease the plans and it would give the team a chance to win.
I hope they do that, and I hope the Mets also do something. We need to get New York back to the top.
When both New York teams are firing on all cylinders, baseball is at its peak. So thanks, E, for being on the show.
Gracias.
He'll be back a lot more, our baseball guru. We'll see you guys next week. Much love.
Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster.